All right, it says I am live. Merry Christmas, everybody, from the Philippines. This is my fancy studio that I have. Some people might refer to it as a hotel room, but I call it my fancy Filipino production studio. Really excited to see everybody. The show's going to begin officially in 7 minutes, but I'm logging in early to give everybody a chance to get the feed sent out to them. I will give you all a quick story while we're waiting. So I'm going to tell you how the Christmas show started because this is the 5th annual, which is like mind blowing to me. But uh, if you follow me, you've probably seen that I have like a lot of really cool ideas, a lot of really good ideas. Here's the reality: I have far more bad ideas than good ideas. I just try stuff. Like I'm not afraid to try stuff and throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. And if it works, I do more of it. If it doesn't work, I just kind of pretend that I never did it. So the idea of a Christmas show started 5 years ago. And I came up with this idea of having 18 guests, 10 minutes apiece over 3 hours. Actually, at first it was like an hour of 6 guests, but then I just kept having more and more people I wanted on. So it turned into a 3 hour show. And we did the show. And the feedback was overwhelming. So many people said they had a good time. But more important, a lot of people said it was a big deal for them. It mattered to them. One of the things that caught me off guard, probably shouldn't have, but I didn't think about this, is so many. I got messages from so many people who were serving in the armed forces. They were overseas. They were, by definition, like thousands of miles away from their family. And then at this Christmas show, they said it made their day. And I'm like, that's enough for me. I'm going to do it again the next year and the next year. And now it's pretty much, I can tell you, I'm going to do this every Christmas as long as I'm around. And thanks to cryogenics, I'll be around for thousands and thousands of years. So I might have to take a couple breaks while they freeze me to cure the next disease, but eventually I'll be back. I see all the messages coming in. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be hanging out until 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, and we have our first guest on. And I'm really excited because this is somebody that does not make public appearances. He's a very important person to the sport, but he's behind the camera or off camera doing a lot of the work. And so I'm really excited to have him on, but I don't want to blow the surprise. I see a comment from Andrew Webster about to comment that you're a military veteran and during active duty, this would have been so cool. Yeah, man, that's like totally caught me off guard. But I gotten so much. By the way, I see all the Merry Christmas messages coming through. They're coming in so fast, I can't reply to them all, but I see them all. And after the show, I will, I go through and read all the messages. So if you send something to me, I promise you I will see it. Bill Vaughn says I can start now that he's here. Love you, Bill. Officially starting in 4 minutes. And I was going to say something else too. Oh, yeah, it's 1 a.m. here. I'm in the Philippines. This is like mind blowing. They celebrate Christmas. They actually start celebrating in August, Christmas out here. And that's not an exaggeration. Ask any Filipino when Christmas starts, and they say it starts in August. So this is the end of 4 months of celebration. In fact, you won't be able to hear it, but it's 1 a.m. and there's like, you can hear kids outside just screaming and yelling. They're still doing fireworks out there. It is pretty wild. We're having a great time in Christmas. Philippines is absolutely amazing. I mean, honestly, we haven't been anywhere in Southeast Asia that we haven't loved. So, all right, guys, 3 more minutes. Oh, you're very welcome for doing this. Oh, I can't wait. Is the first guest, did he show up? Is he in the room waiting? What? Okay, we have our second guest that are in the room, but the first guest isn't on. This is the nature of it. I mean, normally we have 18 guests, and so it's kind of it can be hit or miss. But I got a confirmation from him, so I'm sure he's going to be on. So sometimes people log on at a minute or two late. We just win it. That's the fun of doing a live show, is that I don't know what the hell's going to happen, and we just do our best. Oh, I got to sit back. I'm wearing my barong. This is a traditional Filipino formal wear. I was at Derek and Louisa's wedding. Hello, Christian. The top disc golfer in all of the Philippines, Christian Fernando, just dropped in to say hello. But yeah, this is, I was at Derek, Robbins, and Louisa's Bartolome's wedding last week. What? No, let's wait. So Derek and Louisa are going to be on in 15 minutes. Let's give our 1 p.m. They're not officially late yet. Well, I'll just give them like 2 minutes to show up, and if not, we'll bring on Derek and Louisa early because they may not be actual. They're in the green room. Thank you on the Hall of Fame. Congratulations. All right, we're officially going to start in about 10 seconds. So we got 10 seconds for our first guest to make it on. I know he'll be here, so everybody's going to do their best to log on the best they can. Like I said, we just women. This is just about y'all not spending Christmas alone and us just hanging out together, having fun. It's completely informal. It never goes perfectly smooth. That's kind of the fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if our first guest hasn't shown up for the start time, for the noon start time, it's noon now. I'm going to give it just a minute. And if they haven't shown up, then I'm going to bring on our second guest, and we're going to just flip-flop on the order. And you could message the first guest in text, Jane. If you could do that and message them and let them know we made them 15 minutes later. So, all right. So how about this? Thank you, Jordan, very much. Why don't we bring on our second guest? Let's see if they're even in the room because they're connected, but we'll see if they're here. And maybe we're going to have the second guest on early. Let's bring them on. Hello. I can't hear you.
Are we?
There you go.
There you are.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hello. All right, everybody. So you may or may not recognize them, but the person I'm going to start with the person on the right. Derek Robbins is the first European disc golfer who was elected into the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame. Among his other accolades is he has won the British Disc Golf Championships 85 times. How many times, Derek?
Maybe 23, I think.
Okay, 23 times. Same.
Yeah.
I rounded up to 85.
Yeah.
Derek has also competed in, we're going to argue about this one. He says 39 countries because he counts Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and the UK as one. I count him as 4, so I say he's been to 42 countries competing. But either way, he's competed in more countries than any other disc golfer in the world. And Louisa just married Derek here in the Philippines. Still got the wrong. Actually, Louisa picked this out for me last week. Louisa is the creator and director of the Disc Golf Association of the Philippines, and more than anyone else has turned the Philippines into a growing, flourishing disc golf community. I mean, it started here. So anyways, congratulations, you guys. Thanks for joining.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Don't forget also PDGA Volunteer of the Year.
Oh, okay. So, and yeah, Louisa is the PDGA Volunteer of the Year. So, Louisa, I want to ask you first.
Yeah.
Your story. Basically, this is how you grow disc golf in the Philippines, and I'm going to let you take over the story. But basically, what you do is you take a bag full of discs, you take a basket, you get on a bus, and you travel from city to city, school to school, introducing disc golf to children around the Philippines. And then at night, you sleep in the bus stop. And you did this for how long?
Well, I did it for 3 years, I think. Yeah, 3 years. It's just lately that we had a bag. Just 1 month ago when we had a car. So that's I stopped doing the bus. But 3 years I'm doing that bus to bus, tricycle, jeepneys. Actually, different form of public transportation here in the Philippines, like full of bag, baskets, and then just traveling around community to community, school to school, to introduce these goals. Like yeah, that's what we are doing for 3 years, is to introducing this goals here in the Philippines.
Probably still going to have to do it in the future because
Yeah.
we can't. This, as you know, the Philippines is loads of different islands.
Yeah.
We ain't taking the car into those islands.
Yeah,
So,
probably yes. We will still going to do that because some of the places are still not. We can still not get that with our car. So I still need to do that thing. So yeah. So far it's been 3 years since we're starting doing that, and until now we're still doing it to grow for growing the sports here in the Philippines.
So here's what's incredible about this. I think this is the greatest story in disc golf that everybody should know about. That it's shocking that they don't, because we talk about how difficult it is because sometimes we talk to somebody who doesn't know what disc golf is, or a few years back, we'd be on an airplane and the person next to us, we'd have to explain what disc golf is. But you literally were going to cities where not a single person in that city had ever heard of disc golf. Not once or twice, hundreds of cities, right?
Yeah, we had like really different island. So we literally have different island going, and then city to city as well. So yeah, they didn't really don't know what is this golf is. It's just like really crazy introducing it. So yeah, and like when we go to the terminal bus station, the security guards are starting to like joking around with me, like, are you fighting with your husbands because I bring a lot of things? And they're just like asking me why I am bringing a lot of plates. So it's kind of like from that moment I already talking to them what I'm doing. So
And
I
so
will,
you told me too that when you would go to schools and I don't know how you pulled this off, but you would leave a basket and some discs at the school, but you would make them sign a contract that said if you're leaving the basket and the discs, they have to make disc golf part of their PE curriculum. Is that
actually,
right?
before we're going to do that, we are having a letter reaching out to them first, since that's our project, reaching out, growing the sport in my place. But for us to be able to pull it out, like to pursue it, we need to have an advance letter to the head or to the community, so we can able to do the free clinic. We can't just go there and do the free clinic. We need to ask somebody to introduce the sports. We need to do that. So when they said, okay, let's hear about what you want to do. So when they say yes, we're going to that place, and then we will be trying to get partnership. It's like a memorandum of understanding that we're going to donate these baskets and free disc golf clinic to their community, but make sure that they will, like in the school, make it sure that they will put it in their PE class, or in a community, make it sure that they will introduce into their community. So
Yeah,
we are
I
we are
think
not only doing that for pre-disc golf clinic, we're also doing like pre-coaching. We make it sure that every time we leave something in that city, there's someone who's going to take care of the project that we are pursuing. So yeah, that's what we are doing in some place. But we are not just doing in one. We're always follow up and doing things. So we make it sure that the project will continue, will grow. So yeah, that's
I think that you're building, in my opinion, you are building the grassroots model of how disc golf is going to reach countries outside of North America and Europe. Like, I think you should be very proud of everything you're doing, but not just for you. This is the model that other countries can follow. You know, a quick funny story is that on this trip, we're going to be going to Vietnam, because we heard that there's a woman in Vietnam who is introducing disc golf at a grassroots level. And like, we just heard about what she's doing, and it's incredible. And she's got hundreds of kids and students, and she's going to schools. And it turns out you've already been talking to her, and you're actually going there a month before us to meet with her first, to help. It's amazing. Okay, I don't want to ignore you, Derek.
She's a star.
Hey, no, I'm sorry. I can't let that slide. You're both stars. Derek, 42 countries. Okay, I know your favorite country is now the Philippines. So taking Philippines off the table, what is your favorite place to visit for disc golf? Favorite country?
That's a really difficult one, because there's different reasons to enjoy different trips. You know, sometimes the course may not be anything special, but it's the people, or it's the event, or even with the course, it may be that it's really technical and demanding, or it may be that it's just beautiful. The only one that kind of springs to mind for a number of different reasons was playing in Austria for the first time, because it's a fantastic location. St. Thomas course there. It's up in the hills. It's an old, like a 16th century farmhouse at the heart of it. The guy there makes all these wooden sculptures. So it has a real kind of atmosphere to it. It's a little bit quirky. And it's also where I first met Dinko, Maya, and Vanya from Croatia. That was their first trip, I think, outside Croatia to get to know the disc golf community. And a lot of people, certainly a lot of people in Europe, will be very aware of what an impact they've had. They've hosted European championships, and the Croatian scene is a really fun one. So yeah, I mean that would be a good example to pick of a country that had a great course and also a great community there, and had a great time.
I love it. And I've never competed in Austria, so you got so many countries on me. People are asking me if I'm like how close I am to catching you. It's like I'm not going to. Like,
oh, you might do. Yeah, I mean you're making great strides that way, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure you'll.
No, I'm shooting for. I want to teach. I'm going to teach
there.
disc golf in the most countries. That's my thing. I want to teach in the most. That's my. Well, I probably have, but that's more my passion lies right now. So I want to tell everyone this quick story. When I met Derek for the first time, we were at the world. It was in the parking lot a week before the World Championships in Huntsville, Alabama. And we had just finished a round, and somebody in the parking lot says, "Oh, there's a tournament in Nashville this weekend." And we're like, "Oh, we should go to Nashville." And we had just met you in the parking lot. And we look over at you. I don't even know if we knew your name at the time, but we looked over. I said, because you were, I knew that you were in from Britain to play disc golf. I'm like, "You want to come to Nashville with us?" And you're like, "Yes." And so you threw your stuff in the trunk of the car, and we took off and drove to Nashville. I think we asked you what your name was after we already started driving. But the weird part of the story is that there was another person sitting next to you who we had just met in the parking lot also, who did the exact same thing, named Barry Schultz. And it was just this random old school Frisbee thing, which was, "Oh, nice to meet you. You want to drive to another state and play Frisbee?" That's kind of what we did back then, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's not unusual to you. Maybe not to me either, but if you're new, that might seem a little bit odd. So where's the first country? By the way, is our next guest in? Nope. Okay, so where's the next or first country you're going to travel to now that you're married? Together.
Whoa. Well, actually, we are going to Thailand. I've played there a few times now, but we're going to Chiang Mai in February 7th to 9th, I think it is.
Yeah.
So that'll be our first trip together.
Yeah, I was in Chiang Mai 2 years ago. I had a great time. Thailand's beautiful. They do a great job up there for sure. You've been to Chiang Mai.
I have been to Chiang Mai, but not on disc golf. I've been there just as a tourist, more than 20 years ago. But we have a really good friend of ours, Danny Diaz, who's
shirtless Danny.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to catching up with him and obviously playing the tournament. And we're bringing kids over from Thailand
for the first time.
Louisa's done a fantastic job of she can sweet talk people. So we've had she gets great support from the local government organizations and also from the governor of the province. So via different contacts, we're getting different representatives, and these become like the stars in their community. So it's a really good experience for them because it gives them a taste of international golf. It gives all the kids who are in that area something to sort of aspire to. Think, oh wow, Yeah. So they can look at their local star and see what it's done for them. So it creates a lot of excitement. And so how many kids have we got going?
So far we had 2 interlock. We had, I think we're more or less than 10 people going to Chiang Mai, players. So from Tarlac, Manila. So these kids are, we said no longer kids. I always said they are my kids. They are our kids. So actually they are no longer kids. They're adults already. But since we're starting we starting like 15 years old something, and they're still teens. So we kind of like wanted them to call them our kids, and some adults players as well, like Kevin also coming with us. So it's kind of like I'm really excited. So they are all excited on this journey. That's for the first time they're going back. So so not only in Chiang Mai, I heard Christian and Blinky is also going. Koh Samui, and I think around Asia as well. Southeast Asia. So I don't know yet their plan, but aside from Chiang Mai, they wanted to go to other places to experience some international scene as well. So that's what we are really looking for. And as well, we had this Lipad Pilipinas on February in island of Palawan, which is, I just wanted to explain what is Lipad Pilipinas. Is the idea of our scene is like every year we going to the place where we put disc golf. We're going to the course where we put disc golf. So last year, it's been 3 years now. So last year, the first one will be in Cavite, and the second one we went to Tarlac. Tarlac hosted, and this year Palawan will hosted the Lipad. So Lipad means fly. We're flying in a different places in the country where we hosted one of the big events in disc golf.
And registration has just opened just yesterday for the Lipad Pilipinas. So if people want to come from anywhere around in the world and take part in that, then they're very welcome. It will mean, you have to fly. You probably need to fly from Manila to get there.
Yeah.
So it's a few flights, but it's a beautiful place, really beautiful place.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Hold on one sec. Do we have is our first guest in? So would you guys be willing to stick around for another 13 minutes? Because our first guest didn't make it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I want to hear, okay, so it would be easy, Louisa, for you to talk about how great the Philippines are because it's your home. But I think it would be more interesting for Derek to share why should people come visit the Philippines? Because as a visitor, what about the Philippines do you enjoy the most? Aside from Louisa, that's a cheap answer. You're not allowed to, no cop-out answers. But aside from Louisa, what about the Philippines? No, aside from, forget disc golf. Aside from Louisa and disc golf, what about the Philippines should people want to come visit and see?
It's got a real variety of places. I mean, I haven't really explored it nearly that much because we're so centered on disc golf. I've been so centered on disc golf. So You've probably, give it a few weeks, you'll have seen more of the Philippines than me, possibly. But I think one thing I'd like to make people aware of is, as in so much of the world, if you can speak English, then you're not going to struggle out here. For sure, the older people may not be that confident and maybe a bit shy, but all the kids, they're all learning English. It's a strange country. Lots of the road signs are in English. I'm not saying this is the best reason to visit. I just want to make people aware of the fact that it's not difficult. It's not difficult to get around here. There's good coaches. It's really, really cheap to travel. You can travel from Manila to Tarlac, which takes like 3 hours, and it will cost you like $5 or something. It's really cheap. Variety of food, but yeah, I mean the scenery. Where Tarlac is, the course is starting to get into the more hilly country. Tarlac itself is very flat, but there are some beautiful areas up north that I've been to. A place called Sagada, which was really up in the mountains. You're going through these sort of winding roads, and there's sort of it's like the jungle that you'd imagine in Southeast Asia. Thick vegetation, lush vegetation. There's a lot of people in the Philippines. It's well over 100 million people live here. So a lot of it's also cultivated. And up in the mountains, you've got all these rice terraces that are really beautiful. And they've got fantastic beaches. They're hundreds, if not thousands, of islands that make up this country. And there's some fantastic beaches. If you look up Palawan, and the course there run by Kevin Steuben, he's got a beachfront property. One of the holes actually plays out over the sea. It's stunning. It really is. So there's lots of good reasons to come, and it's easy to get around,
and it's safe.
That's another big thing. Yeah. There's maybe a couple of islands way down south where they're bordering other countries, but for the most part, every bit I've been to, I felt perfectly safe. I've not felt any risk other than dogs. You go down off some track and there's loads of dogs around barking at you. But apart from that, no.
Well, with most places in the world, with only a couple exceptions, big cities have big city problems that you need to be smart, obviously. But, one of the things about all of Southeast Asia, but certainly in the Philippines, is that the best way to get assistance from somebody is just to look confused. Like if you're standing by a bus and you're looking around like you don't know what you're doing, it takes about 10 seconds before somebody walks up and offers to help.
Yeah.
And they haven't led us astray yet.
Yeah.
So for us to travel, we do the jeepneys, which are these old refurbished World War II Jeeps that have been turned into these buses that people, these independent contractors buy and get these contracts to drive people around, and everyone piles in the back. It's fantastic. Yeah. And then three-wheel mopeds or motorcycles with a sidecar. We've ridden in those, but it's you can't really do stuff wrong. The worst that happens is you get on the wrong jeepney and go to the wrong place, but nothing's going to happen to you. It's safe. It costs 50 cents to ride somewhere. So the thing that people need to understand is that this part of the world is so safe that you really can't mess up. You go to a restaurant and you point. If you can't understand the language, anywhere in Southeast Asia, all the menus have pictures on them. So I really want people to know how great it is out here.
No, exactly. Go along with all of that. It's and that's one of the things that just makes it so much easier, life easier. You don't have to worry too much. It's exciting. It's different enough to be exciting, but it's safe and simple.
Oh my God! We were in
Louisa.
We were in Baguio. Is it Baguio? Baguio. I always pronounce it wrong. Baguio. This is a city. This blew my mind. It's a city of 350,000 people. It's a Like it's a real city. And we're out there in the square. They're having this big Christmas festival. It's packed full of people. And all of a sudden I'm like, nobody's smoking. Like, well, that's weird. Like shouldn't there at least be like one person somewhere smoking? Turns out smoking's against the rules in Baguio. Like you can
Yes.
smoke in your homes, but even the cigarettes in stores are under the counters. They're just like they don't say you're not allowed to, but you just can't do it in public and stink out people trying to enjoy their meals. And then there's like no drunk people because there's no public consumption of alcohol. And we're like how like I don't drink or smoke. So for me, I'm like, wow, this is very pleasant. Like it totally caught me off guard that a city of 350,000 would just say, hey, we don't think this is healthy. Let's try to do something about it. Is that normal or is that like just Baguio?
Yeah, because there are cities also that providing some rules. So one of them is Baguio. So it's kind of like really don't in that city. It's normal for them, looking that there's no people smoking. So it's really normal in Baguio that people are not smoking. So they have these rules that they are implementing in that city.
Is
So
that
yeah.
is that because of like kids and wanting to keep kids from smoking, or is that because just trying to make it like what are their reasons? I mean, I
No,
approve, but
they're trying to
why do they do it?
no, actually, that's the one they are trying to make prove to the community that they can do it, that they can implement it. So and it happened, and it's implementing that. People are really following the rules.
Yeah, no,
They
everyone follows the rules. Nobody's hiding in a corner smoking. Like
yeah, exactly.
everybody
Yeah,
plays along.
yeah. So if ever there is, of course, you can see them. They're like, maybe they are hiding or something. But into public, they are not really can't do that. So yeah.
No, I thought like I said, I personally thought it was great. I'm a little biased, like, but for me, for both of us, I think it made it just a lot more pleasant, easygoing. Hey, we're gonna kick you guys off, let you go. Well, it's bedtime out there.
Yeah.
We're gonna let you off in just a minute. Do you have any final messages for people that might be thinking about coming to the Philippines to disc golf?
Oh yeah. Before we say goodbye, we would just like to tell thank you. We wanted to say thank you to all the people. I'm sure you have Las Vegas, some in Las Vegas coming here for things. So we wanted to say thanks all of the clubs that we are helping us growing the sports in the Philippines, of course, and PDGA who's continue partnering with us in our community works, and all of the people around the world who's reaching out and helping us and keep inspiring us to continue what we are doing. So I cannot tell them because there's a lot of people really wanted to be with us to help what we are doing here in the Philippines. So yeah, this is the opportunity that even though we can tell them that again, thank you, Scott, for this opportunity. At least in your show, we can tell them that we really really appreciate everyone. We cannot just give them one by one a shout out, but they know who they are, and I'm sure they are watching. So from a bottom of the heart of the Filipino player, of course, maraming salamat po for continuing support of Disco Philippines. We are the fastest growing sport here in the Philippines because of you guys. So we really would like to thank you. All of these communities, we owe it to everyone who supported us.
Yeah,
So-
we've donated hundreds and hundreds of discs. Well, hundreds and hundreds of discs have been donated to the Philippines for Louisa, and then when we go out to the schools, they get the basket, and then we can give them these secondhand discs, and it's invaluable because what we want to do, reach out to the grassroots. The kids don't have the money; they're not going to buy imported discs.
Yeah.
It's difficult, and it's just out of beyond their pocket.
Yeah, but because of everyone, it became possible in the Philippines. So yeah, it's really a Merry Christmas for us here in the Philippines, and thank you for bringing us into your show. This is for us the opportunity for us to say thank you to everyone, and from all of us here, from my tournament directors and coaches around who are watching. He's messaging me. We are watching you. So shout out to them, Coach Alan, Coach Phil, all of them around the Philippines. They are watching Scott Stokely live. So yeah, we are looking forward for everyone who wanted to come here in the Philippines. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. And whatever we say here, you will witness. You will witness the smile and the love of the Filipinos for disco.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a great community.
Awesome. All right. Well, I love you guys. Congratulations on the marriage. And now you can go to sleep, and I'm sure we'll talk tomorrow.
yes, for sure, do that. Thank you.
Good
Merry
night.
Christmas.
Thanks, Scott.
Good
Merry
night.
Christmas.
All right. So now we have two more guests to bring on. I like the hat. Hey, guys. All right. So I'm going to do a quick introduction. So in the middle is correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you're the second person ever to be inducted into the Ultimate Hall of Fame and the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Multiple time World Disc Golf champion, and recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, Chris O'Cleary.
Merry Christmas,
And-
everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas. And then on the right is Denise Monroe, who was the wife of a very dear friend and a very important member of our Frisbee family that we lost this year, Tom Monroe. And Denise wanted to come on and share a message as well. So I couldn't miss the opportunity. Denise, nice to meet you. Wait, have we met? I don't think we've actually met.
I don't think we have, no. Even though I was at the 93 World Championships, you went to Nashville before I could meet you.
And I went to Nashville with Derek
Yeah.
Robbins and Barry Schultz per the last
Yes.
story. It's such a small world, right?
It is. Thank
So-
you for having me.
You bet. So I'm gonna come back to you in a minute, Denise. I want to start
Okay.
with Chris.
Okay.
So, Chris, one of the things that I think is mind-blowing to me, but I think we share a mission of trying to show these young kids, well, two things. We're showing people who are older that they're capable of maybe more than they believe, but we're also showing these kids that the disc golfers back in the 80s and 90s must have been pretty darn good, because we're a lot older and we're still doing pretty well. And I will cite something about you. May I share your age? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
You are this year you were, was it 60? 61. 61 years old with a player rating of 924. Which means at 61 years old, you would have been qualified to be on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and as a 920-something rated player, you would have cashed at some events. Not by shooting 920, but a 920 player on a good weekend is cashing. So you were playing at a level that would be cashing on the Pro Tour at 60-plus years old.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I follow your career. I followed your career since I was 15 years old, Chris.
That's awesome. Well, first I'll speak to like playing forever. You know, I was an elementary PE teacher, and I spent 30 years trying to teach people to love to play. There's something on this earth that you can find that you enjoy that gets you moving, right? And disc golf is perfect for that, because you can start at 3, and we're evidence that you can play well into your latter years, and you can play well. It's easy on the body. It's easy on the pocketbook. The community of people are outstanding. So I just think it's like a perfect sport for everybody.
No, absolutely. And congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction this year. All right. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to ask you about Sweden in a minute. But Denise, you reached out and said you wanted to, well, number one, you wanted to send a message to the disc golf community. And I said, please come join us. Obviously, you're welcome. So what do you have for us?
Well, I just wanted to send a message to you, thanking you for doing this on Christmas Day, because there are a lot of us that are alone. I'm totally alone since Tom passed away. I have my good friends, Colin and his wife, Kathy, that allow me to spend some Christmas time with them. I had some friends yesterday I spent Christmas Eve with, but at the end of the day, I go home and it's just me. And I really just appreciate, the community comes together and really supports you. Even though I played early on just because, when I met Tom, I didn't realize that he was a world champion and all that stuff. I just met this guy and we started dating and I wanted to hang out with him. So guess what? I had to learn how to play disc golf. And we spent every day together on the courses playing. I got out of it after we moved to Florida. I got out of it, and I really, I regret that I got out of the sport because it is such a community. I feel that here in Huntsville, when Tom passed away, we had a celebration of life. There were 200 people there, and we were, it was a celebration. We had a day at a local bar called Campus 805 that everybody came out and played. We had a green field that they set up some disc golf targets on. And, I just felt that so much love and support from hundreds of people that I had never met. I certainly know their names. But I just wanted to let you know that on a day like Christmas, when it's such a, so much focus is on family and friends and parties and get together, there are some of us that are very much alone, and I appreciate just being able to get together with you and just, reminisce. And I just, the disc golf community is just becoming more and more important to me every day. And I appreciate it. And Colin's here with me. He's being
Oh, Colin.
So he taught me into this, and I was like, I'm so happy to be able to do it. And I just want to say hello to everyone. And Tom just showed me a different world, and it is a different world. It's such a community of people. I still meet people every day. I met somebody yesterday that, plays at the Arsenal, and he had never met Tom. And we just got to we got to talking about it. Tom was just so enthusiastic about spreading the word of the sport everywhere. And I mean, everywhere we went, to the doctor's office, to the dentist office, he would talk nonstop. Don't ask him what is disc golf, because your next hour is going to be nothing but, just a class in what the whole sport means and what it meant to him. And I really appreciate it. And it's so nice to meet you, even though it's not in person.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to come to Huntsville and do some clinics. I think that would be awesome. I think the guys here would really appreciate it.
I would definitely come. Last time I saw Tom was in Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, for those of you who are newer players, Tom Monroe, my short description would be, if you ask 10 disc golf historians for their Mount Rushmore of disc golf, some of them would have Tom on their Mount Rushmore.
Right,
So he's in this conversation right up there with Ed Hedrick and Dan Roddick. Tom Monroe's on a very short list of players. I got a real quick, I don't know if you recall this story, but a real funny story about Tom was that I guess I'll put quotes around the word funny, because this is really close to Tom's passing. But we had, from what I understood, a pretty good idea of how much time Tom had left. So we tentatively were scheduling Tom's memorial around the time that we knew he was going to pass. And apparently a few weeks before we lost him, Tom had a couple days where he felt better, and he reached out and he said, Hey, do you think we could move my memorial up a few weeks so I could be there? So
That's Tom, and he would want to say some things too.
yeah, no, that was no, he was beloved and missed. So Chris, we had such a short amount of time with everybody, but your story of how you wound up at the WIFTIP 85 World Championships, which you won.
Third.
Oh, third. Wait a second. No, but how you wound? Oh, that's right. My bad. I'm sorry. I wasn't even there. But like, how did you wind up there again?
Well, first I want to speak to Tom Monroe because I was a Southerner as well, and I would see him at Frostbreaker, which was one of our spring ultimate tournaments. Tom was always there with the basket. He was so warm and so enthusiastic that anybody walking by, and he always had a bunch of discs and baskets out. And he had a huge influence on me and my love for the sport just because of his passion. So I just want to speak to them, just knowing that he influenced me. Well, the way I ended up in Sweden is I played my first disc golf tournament at Southern Tech, which is in Marietta, Georgia. And I entered as an amateur because it was my first tournament. Vanessa Chambers was there. She was in the pro division, and it was a course that I was very familiar with, but I played pretty well and ended up beating her by a number of strokes. And John, David, and Patty Kunkel were the tournament directors. And as one of my gifts, they gifted me a PDGA membership, which, and back then I didn't even really kind of know what that meant, right? And I was like, what's the PDGA? And so then they later told me that there was going to be this World Championships held in Sweden. By chance, that March, I was leaving on a 5-month tour around Europe, pretty much a one-way ticket to Athens, Greece. Like you, Scott, enjoy traveling the world, meeting people. And my mother was from southern Sweden, a town called Malmö. We have relatives in Helsingborg, which is where the tournament was being held. By chance, my mom was going to be in Sweden that August. And I was like, well, hey, Mom, pack me a couple Frisbees. and so I signed up for Worlds. That was my first pro tournament. She literally brought me an Eagle, which was my driver, an 86 mole, which was my putter, and a Midnight Flyer, which was like my approach disc. So I had 3 discs. I haven't thrown a golf disc in 5 months, leading up to the tournament. And I was like, there were 26 countries represented. It was amazing. It was an entire week. We had an opening ceremony that would rival anything that we see in today's disc golf events. And I just met people from around the world. We played in beautiful parks. I had Charlie Meade, who took me under his wing, because he could see I was kind of there by myself, so to speak. And it was just magical. And so I ended up, in 3rd place, I think like 1 stroke out of 2nd. And I was like, I guess I can play this game. I'm not terrible at it. So that started like my quest for looking into like playing more disc golf events.
That's amazing. And what I love about that story is, as fly by night or flippant as it seems, that's the way it was. That is so many players' stories that basically, even a generation before us that are even more, just random like that. We have just a minute. Denise, do you have any parting words for us before we kick you all off and let you get back to your families?
So, Scott, before we let you go, we put together a package. Since you were overseas and we talked before, I wasn't able to give it to you soon, but I'm going to show you some of the things we're going to be sending to you. We got 1 sticker here. That's Tom. Frisbee with a 33.
Yeah. Amazing.
We have his Hall of Fame induction card that has some of his stats on the back for it. We have an identified flying object. This is a patented Tom Monroe warm-up disc that you can practice with.
Amazing.
You're going to get one of his minis, and you are going to get a Tom Monroe signed Tom Monroe face disc, which has a lot of his accomplishments, to include his world records and all those other things. So that'll be coming to you soon. Chris, we're going to send you some stuff too, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. When Tom, I mean, it was such an honor to be able to play a small part in sharing Tom's story. I mainly brought in the old timers who knew Tom far better than I did, but just to be included in that, it made me feel very special. So thank you so much. Love you all. And I'm going to kick you off and get you back to your families. And I don't really know who's on next, but we're going to find out in a second.
Thanks,
Thank
Scott.
you. I
And hopefully
appreciate it.
I'll see you in Finland for Worlds when it's back
I will
in Scandinavia.
I'll be in Finland next year for sure. So hopefully competing, fingers crossed.
Me too.
All right. Thank you all.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you all. All right. The next mystery guest is, hey, did we catch you on the phone? What's up, Eliezra?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going? I can hardly hear you. Let's see.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Can you hear me
All
now?
right. Yes. So everybody, for those of you who don't follow the Pro Tour, that's the only people who might not know who this is. Eliezra is the Disc Golf Pro Tour Rookie of the Year runner-up this year, 2024. I believe, I don't think this has been announced yet, but I think the PDGA Rookie of the Year, because there's a different qualifications between those two, I think you're pretty likely to walk away with that one, maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
Perhaps, probably. You also were the U.S. FPO distance champion last year at 16 years old.
Yes.
How far did you throw a golf disc? And before you answer the question about how far you threw a golf disc, I want to point out this was not a wind-aided desert type of situation. Nothing wrong with that, but I want to put context around how far you threw at 16 years old. You were in just a moderate light breeze on flat ground. How far did you throw last year?
536 was my farthest in the competition at US DGC.
536 feet, which is not that impressive considering you're 6'10". Wait, now how tall are you?
I'm 5'6".
Okay, 5'6". Okay, I got the 6 part backwards. Yeah, you're probably the best evidence of any player in the world how technique and timing trumps everything. Hey, being tall helps, but but when you throw the disc correctly, you can throw 530 feet at 5'6" and 16 years old. All right, enough blowing up your ego. How are you doing?
I'm good. We've gotten snow the last few days, a little bit here and there, and so we're excited for that. My siblings have been absolutely loving it. It's too cold for me though. I've been staying inside and wrapping presents and just sitting by the fire. The siblings are around. You'll probably hear them. They're running around.
All right, here's the more important question. How's the finger? You had some injury this year.
My finger is doing very well. I have been playing more slowly, getting myself back into it. It's kind of hard to play right now because it's so cold, but I will be heading down to Florida soon to be able to play a lot more, and also going to the Eagles Wings Conference, which will be fun. But it is doing well. It is almost fully healed. I haven't had a problem with it when I threw last time I played. So
Really, that's good news. I mean, I know it bothered you some by some, I mean, it bothered you a bunch last year.
Yeah, there was a DNF and a couple very painful rounds that I had to get through. So,
well, it's what you get for throwing 500 feet. Cry me a river.
That is probably the main problem. There is the snap on the disc is the main cause of the injury.
So I have to ask, how? Okay, if I asked you how you throw so far, do you know?
No. I don't know anything about mechanics. I mean, I do. I'm not very good at it. I never tried to do anything with my form, so I don't really know what is doing what. It worked out for me.
Did you model your throw after anybody?
No, I watched a lot of Anthony Brella and Haley King. I tried to be like them. It doesn't really show in my form, but those were the people I was inspired by. Haley King and Anthony Brella. I used to putt like them a lot more, but no, throwing I didn't copy anyone.
I mean, it's just insane. I mean, I think what you're doing that's so special is that as our sport, because we're still a new sport, we're like the sport evolves and players raise the bar in different areas, whether it's the introduction or the common use of the sidearm, or whether it's the person who can throw far, or whether it's a person who can do hyzer flips, or the Kevin Jones out there saying, hey, the grenade's a pretty useful shot in a lot of situations. But you're one of the people that you are raising the bar for your entire field. Do you even recognize that that's happening? Do you even see that, or are you just too busy trying to get better?
I never really think about that. I really don't think about any of that. I'm just trying to have fun and play my game. I never even think of it like that, really. Just trying to enjoy
the rest
life,
of us
play
do.
disc golf.
So, I mean, this is your life. I mean, playing disc golf, competing in disc golf, this is what your world revolves around today.
Every day.
Every day. And you've been traveling with the whole family, part of the family?
Yep. My mom and my siblings, we travel the country in our RV, and it's crowded, but it's fun most of the time.
So is it more pressure because the family's there with you, or is it more relaxing because you got familiar people with you?
I'd say a little bit of both, honestly. It's nice to be able to have the family there, but at the same time, it is very stressful. Just because they are
okay,
there.
So it just sounds like the definition of a family in general, right?
Exactly, yes.
You're in New Jersey now, right?
Yep. We are here. I want to get out of here, though. It's too cold.
Yeah, I would say I understand, but I don't. I'm in the Philippines, right near the equator, which I'll be someplace near the equator every winter. I'm over the cold thing, so I'm with you there. Your plans are to be in Europe next year, obviously.
I don't know yet. We're gonna find out. I wish. I hope so.
What would stop you?
The whole family. I mean, it's just
bring the family.
Yeah, we all want to go, but we don't know if it's gonna happen. My family's from Norway, and we've always wanted to go to Europe and stuff like that, and so the whole family would come. So yeah, everyone wants to go. So we're still figuring that out.
Well, you just have to win 3 or 4 pro tour events, and you'll all be fine. No pressure.
So simple.
Yeah. Hey, not to put added pressure on you, but if you don't play well this spring, your family can't go to Europe, Ellie.
Man.
Not to add pressure.
I think I want to go more than them. So.
No, it would be it would be a shame if you weren't able. But hey, that's life, right? Mm-hmm. We don't always get what we want. Also, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your off-season training regimen, or what does your off-season training regimen look like? I mean, I know you're recovering from the injury. Has that tempered how much you're practicing, or?
Yeah, it has a lot. After USCGC, I didn't throw a disc for 6 weeks straight. Just nothing, no disc golf at all. And now I'm slowly getting back into it. It's not like I don't really have a set routine I do, just because I'm still trying to figure out what my limit is with my finger right now. And I don't want to do too much and then aggravate it again. So I'm still trying to relearn what am I capable of, practice wise, and how much can I do before I need to worry about like maybe hurting my finger again. But I don't really have a set regimen that I do. If the weather's nice, I go play disc golf and I putt. That's what it is right now. I am putting a lot more work than last year though. I'm putting in a lot of work. So
Do you cross train? Like, do you hit the gym and that all that, or?
no, not yet. I want to though. I'm going to. That is the plan this year.
Gotcha. Hey, if I could offer one piece of unsolicited advice when it comes to your finger, is that I think one of the biggest things that it seems that young players are afraid of is that taking time off, it's like they're going to lose something or they're going to forget something. And I can tell you with like professional sports have been around long enough to know that taking time off doesn't, like, you don't forget what you learned. You know, you might forget for a day or two if you take a month off and then you get it right back again.
Yeah.
So definitely take care of your injury. That's like, you know, don't be afraid to not play. Yeah.
Also, during the 6 weeks off, it kind of really rejuvenated my urge to go play. I had a lot of disc golf fever. I was like, I want to go play because I was like watching people from my couch and I was like, oh, I hate this. I can't go play.
So your siblings also all play?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to ask her, they're younger than you?
Yes, I'm the oldest. They're all younger than me. All of them played, 4 out of the 5 of my siblings played Junior Worlds last year, and the same for the year before that, except I played that year too. But yeah, my sister has gotten 2nd and 3rd the last 2 years in FJ. Oh, wait. She got 2nd in FJ8s and I think 3rd in FJ10s this year. And my brothers, they're middle of the pack, and the MJ 15s is quite the division to compete in. That is a hard division. So they're more having fun, but they're all pretty good.
I mean, you're kind of supposed to when you're a kid.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh no,
it's not supposed to be not fun till you're older.
Until it's your job. No, I'm kidding. I love my job. It's all fun. I really push for them to just have, or my sister, I caddy for her during Worlds, and I really just push for her to have fun because they all play better when they're having fun too. Even for us adults, I feel like we play better when we're having fun. So
well, you definitely play better, but you get more practice in because you're not having to like pull teeth to go out and play. I mean, I agree. Taking a break absolutely helps. Don't take 13 years off. I tried that. It was hard to come back. Yeah. So, but 13 days or weeks is fine. Yeah. Are all your siblings showing promise? Are they all getting better every year?
Yeah, there's 2 specifically that I think could have potential to maybe be on tour someday. My sister for sure. If she really likes skateboarding, so she's kind of pursuing that right now. But if she put in the work in disc golf, she'd be a menace to everyone.
Oh my God. Okay, please, I'm going to beg you as your older sister, force her to wear a wrist guard on her throwing wrist.
She's fully decked out. Grandma makes sure. Grandma bought her the whole set of elbow.
No, I do the number one as a disc golf teacher who does 50 seminars and 50 clinics every single year. The most common mobility issue I've found has been from skateboarding, from broken wrists that lose mobility. And when you lose range of motion, you lose power, you lose snap, you lose everything. And it's just because you broke your wrist skateboarding as a kid. So wrist guards on the throwing hand.
I will.
Who cares about the other hand? Break the other arm. Who cares?
Bubble wrap. She will be safe.
Okay. Yes. No bubble wrap. Just the wrist. Everything else.
Yeah,
everything else can break and you're fine. That's the only part of the body that's not allowed to break.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why nobody asked me for parenting advice. I would wrap bubble wrap around my kid's throwing arm, and
I love bubble wrap, so you pop it off.
Right. Hey, I appreciate you jumping on. Before we go, you got to give a shout out to your sponsor.
DGA.
That's a rule.
Oh
what?
Yeah. Thanks for supporting me this year. Can't wait to see what next year holds.
Yeah. Who? By the way, what distance did you win distance with the year before?
In 2023,
Yeah.
it was a Corvette.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. I had no idea. I was going to give
Yeah.
you another chance to give a shout out. You know, I'm always bugging out.
This year I threw 518 at USDGC with a Torrent.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Wait, only 518?
Yeah. Oh.
Shame. No, just kidding.
In practice,
All right.
it was
Hey,
good.
I got to let you get back to your family. Please tell your mom thank you for letting me borrow you for 15 minutes on your holiday. And it's been really nice actually getting to know her. She sounds as awesome as, well, I'd met her before, but I've gotten to know her a little bit recently, and she's great. So please send my love to the family, and have an amazing next year. And I'll be mostly watching. I won't be at most of the events, but I will be watching you closely and rooting you on.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right. Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye. All right. I have no idea who's next. This is like, I feel like a kid in a candy store who's like opening up a mystery box. Hey, Joseph Phillips. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, buddy?
Oh, man, I'm doing so good. Let me give the introduction. So Joseph Phillips is the, correct me if I'm wrong, but CEO of Another Round Disc Golf.
Yeah, co-owner with my friend Kyle. Yeah, we own the brand together.
Okay, you own the brand together. And the reason why I have wanted to have Joseph on is that every year I do the show, I don't just bring on like, touring players. I try to bring in some historical players, like we had Chris O'Cleary on. I try to bring on promoters and, just people from other aspects of the sport. And I always want to have at least somebody who's runs a pro shop. But you are a special case because you do more than just run a pro shop. You have a model that's taking the disc golf world by storm with Another Round Disc Golf. And I think it's cool. I love entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the key to the growth of our sport, maybe more than anything. So can you tell the people listening what Another Round is? Like, what do you guys do that makes you stand out?
Well, to your point, you saying that entrepreneurs are so important, all of our stores, we're up to 12 stores now across the country, and all of them are owned 100% at the local level. And one of the things that I like to say about it is that, in a given community, it's so important to have somebody whose livelihood is tied to the health and the growth of the sport. And so, it's like unapologetically a for-profit business in a place, but the goal of it still for us, if we wanted to make fast money, we wouldn't be doing brick and mortar in 2024. But for us, we still want to grow the sport. That old phrase that you heard and probably were instrumental in kind of getting out there is still a big thing for us. And we want to grow disc golf in all these places that we're at and have really healthy communities. And so, yeah, that's our deal. We're setting up stores all over the place, and we got a lot more coming, and it's a really cool thing.
Well, I can tell you firsthand. I mean, the reason why I asked you is because I'm traveling around. I'm talking to all these different pro shops. I've walked into, oh God, it's between 50 and 100 now. No, God, it's got to be closer to 100 pro shops now. I've walked in and met with pro shop owners.
It's wild.
For business reasons. I never want to be plugging my stuff on my show. So but I'm walking to pro shops and talking to the pro shops. And I've gone into probably 6 or 7 Another Rounds, and I've asked them like, hey, what about the Another Rounds guys? Did they treat you well? Do you like them? And you're universally praised. I hear everything from like, oh, they support us so much to they let us do our own thing. We're not, like, that's when I reached out to you, is because like the 7th store I talked to was like, yeah, they're great.
Well, that's good to hear. And for us, having these stores owned at the local level is important because we didn't want to be some corporate conglomerate, that's coming in and doing cookie cutter model. Like every disc golf community is different, and every store needs to be different and represent that. And so, these are all the people that own these stores are people that grew up in these communities, and that this is not like us picking a city, putting a person in there to run a shop. This is, these are springing from the already existing communities there. And yeah, it's really cool that they told you that. It's the thing that I always say is that anybody that we're doing business with that is opening one of these stores, we'd have to be willing to go on a vacation with them. That's the level of relationship we want to have with these people, that
Okay.
like they're buds, like they're disc golfers, and they're people that we would want to hang out with and that represent kind of our ethos and all of that. But yeah.
So what do you think then, now that you have feedback from more than just your first store? What's the biggest challenge that pro shops are facing today?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about the industry being down, and I think that's somewhat. It's obviously true. It's enough people saying it. It's obviously rooted in some sort of reality. But disc golf is not down, and the public infrastructure of free courses all over the place. Disc golf isn't going anywhere. We're not. I think we're still up from where we were. The trajectory is still going up from where we were at in 2019. Obviously, there was a big inflated thing during COVID. There was scarcity, and that whole conversation's probably boring. Everybody's heard it. So I think there were a lot of stores that thought that was going to be a kind of continuous growth curve. When it hit on COVID, they got oversaturated with product. It becomes a really, it's kind of a death spiral. You order way too much stuff, then you're not making money. You can't order the new stuff that's coming out, then you don't have new releases that are coming in, or you have to under order on stuff like that. So, we were really, really diligent during that time and made really smart decisions. We never wanted to be some huge warehouse model. We never wanted to be just way over leveraged with how much stuff we had. And so we made good decisions. We made a couple of bad decisions, but overall we're still doing well. And, for us, it's like, the community side of things has been so important, and I think that's what's helped us, is that like the goal of this has always been not an extraction thing. We don't want to just pull from disc golf communities, but we want to invest in them. And I think people can, see that and understand kind of the heart of all the people that are running these stores, and they want to support them. And we're really grateful to have not had to close any stores and still be standing. And, it is a challenging time, but I still think that we're on the up. And it really does feel like there was a little bit of a downturn. And even in the last 6 months, there are signs that things are starting to trend back up. So
If someone wanted to live the dream of opening a pro shop and doing disc golf for a living, do you have some quick advice for them, like off the cuff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually mean this, but people are like, the fastest way to make $1 million in disc golf is to start with 2 million. If you want to get rich quick, disc golf's probably not going to be the space for you. But if you love disc golf and you really, really want to see it grow, and you want to tie your financial future to the success of the thing, and you're willing to grind like crazy to do that, then the sky's the limit. And I think that if you've got a 20-year kind of vision of where you want the thing to go, I think you'll be really, really rewarded for it. If you've got a 2-year vision for what you want and you want to get a quick exit, then I wouldn't do it. I think it has to be, I've had people that are friends all over the place that, they're like, oh my goodness, you guys have had so much success and whatever. Like, I want to open a store. And my response to a guy recently who I love, was, you've played disc golf 3 times in your life. Like, fall in love with the sport for a year, and if it's the only thing that you can think about is Frisbees, then you should do it. And if it's not, then you should not do it.
No, I agree. It's one of the things that seems so important with pro shops is that they need to be ingrained within the local community at some level.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a culture around those stores. Now, quotes around always. There's no such thing as always. You could, if you have the best selection in town, you're still going to sell discs. But generally speaking, the culture, the like it's critical to your success. And if you're fly by night, the person who's passionate is going to beat you most of the time, right?
Sure. Yeah. And that's, I mean, Kyle and I are not business guys. We're not like, we don't have MBAs from Wharton and, this was some sort of a strategic thing. Kyle and I just really love Frisbees and we love throwing them, and we were total nuts about it. And Kyle was working a corporate job that he hated and it was really successful, but was just super burnt out from it. And we thought, well, we're not getting younger. It's probably not going to get easier to take a huge swing together. Let's see what happens. And that was in May of 2019. And, then the pandemic hit 5 minutes later. We thought we were going to lose everything. Ended up being awesome for the sport, of course. And, here we are 5 years later. And this is, it's a really humbling thing. And I know all the kind of corporate speak and the business talk and the successful or entrepreneurial kind of stuff. Not all of it is just a gift. It's all just like, this is so cool. This is plastic Frisbees. And there's this, huge thing 5 years later that has come from that. So.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying about the love. I mean, when I stopped traveling about, what was it, six or 7 years ago, and I did 3 years in corporate America, and I was selling software, and turns out I was really good at selling software.
That doesn't surprise me.
Tech companies, right? And tech companies actually notoriously treat people really, really well. It's a modern way of doing business. So I have a 6-figure income, and I'm being treated really well by companies with people that I really liked. And I was miserable because I wasn't doing disc golf. And so when I quit that to decide I'm going to travel around the country 5 years ago, and I'm just going to go travel around doing private lessons, I'm pretty sure I'm the highest paid employee to quit their job to play Frisbee golf. I'm pretty sure it's a record, but it was the best decision ever made because it's what I love. Like, you believe that really matters?
I think it's everything. I've talked to people in the industry that have owned companies for a long time, or that are high ups in these things, and they'll tell you that they haven't thrown or touched a Frisbee in multiple years, and it's super sad to me because, the love of the thing is why we're doing this. If you want to make fast money, go, start your Amazon drop shipping empire and just do something that you don't care about. If you want to be in Frisbees, you better really love it. And it's one of the reasons why I'm, on Instagram all the time still throwing.
Yeah, I know. I see you every day.
I still love it. It's like I threw a shot yesterday with my family with a disc that should not have been as stable as it was, and I've been tickled about it for 12 hours. Just like, oh my Lord, that disc shouldn't have done that, and I want to get back out and throw it.
Well, I've watched you throw. I mean, you're really good, and so but were you one of those people that I'm going to be this high level pro, and then at some point went, yeah, maybe I can't get there, or is it always just something for fun?
I was such a sicko and competitive in everything in life. Like I was the guy in intramurals that was like, I wasn't making an ass of myself, but I was definitely somebody that sat in my car after a loss in an intramurals game that meant nothing and was like, you suck, dude. Like self-loathing. And so when I found disc golf, I'd played a lot of ultimate and I was pretty good at that. And when I found disc golf, my dad introduced us to the sport. It was this respite from that. I wasn't competitive against people. It was just me chucking Frisbees. And so I kind of kept that going. I never really cared. I played a few charity tournaments and I would play in leagues around Charlotte, but nothing, I never wanted it. I never had time. I could never play 2-round tournaments that were on Sundays. And so I just never really got into it. And still, throwing multiple shots off the tee and getting something, figuring out weird discs and all that stuff. That's the part of disc golf that still keeps me excited about it.
That's amazing.
But thank you for telling me that I was good. That's nice. You don't see all the bad shots, but thank you for saying nice things.
Oh no, but that's the magic of social media.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? As far as I'm concerned, every single person in the world lives a luxurious lifestyle, and every single meal is designed by an artist. I mean, and I believe all of it. So,
Scott, I want to tell you this. I saw a video of you on the internet yesterday. I don't know if it was from your account or one of those stupid aggregator accounts that steal content, but you threw, I think it was in Arkansas at Jonesboro across the water. You threw a forehand that hit the base of the thing and rolled back in the water, and you had turned around to point at the crowd after you threw it on a forehand. Do you remember this?
Des Moines.
Oh, it was Des Moines. Yeah. That was an awesome clip. I loved it.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why I did that was because this is one of the tricks to social media, which is you film a bunch of stuff, and if you happen to catch one,
sure,
like that's great. So I threw my shot. I threw a sidearm. The second I let go, I was like, and there's a huge gallery there.
Yeah.
The second I let go, I went, oh my God, that's going to be a hole in one. Wouldn't it be cool if I turned my back to the basket and pointed at the crowd? And if it goes in,
yeah,
like this is going to be like a 1 million view video, right? And so I turned it, and everybody went, because it hit the base of the basket. You're like, so I almost made it. So I pointed at the crowd, and everybody goes, yeah. And then all at once they'll go, oh, because apparently the disc hit and rolled all the way back into the water. So.
Back into the water. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
I love watching you throw, man. And I love that. I love your passion for the game. And, obviously you and I don't know each other well. We've talked a couple of times, but I can tell obviously that you're one of the Frisbee nut people that just love it and love throwing. And I love watching your forehand form. And yeah, man, I appreciate all that you do for the sport. And, thanks for inviting me on. Sorry, I'm in my car. I got two little kids in the house, and this is going to be the only place that's quiet.
I've done more podcast interviews from the car. I've probably done 50 podcast interviews from my car at night. And the only way I can get well lit is I will pull into like a truck stop gas station. I will pull up to the pump because of how well lit it is. And then I'll sit at the pump for an hour doing a podcast.
Hilarious.
Interview. So I understand. Hey, I'm going to let you get back to your family. Merry Christmas. And thank you for joining. Good luck to another round. I can't wait to see all the great things you guys are going to do in the future, man. And congratulations on your success.
Thank you, brother. Cheers. Merry Christmas. See ya.
Merry Christmas. All right. And the next guest is going to be, oh my God, I'm so excited. Hey, what's up? It's Chandler Fry.
From one guy in a car to another guy in a car.
Hey, no, you heard that. Yeah, no, I've done more interviews from cars because that's just the way it works. So I'll introduce you. Chandler Fry is a touring pro for how many years on the Disc Golf Pro Tour?
I believe 5 years.
5 years on the Pro Tour. He's a legend from the Pacific Northwest. And my quick story about Chandler Fry was I went out to a tournament. And before I knew who you were, I don't think I'd ever met you. I went out to a tournament at Farragut, and they were going to play several of the courses out there, but one of them was this bomber course. And I didn't know you. I'm talking to the tournament director, and they said, Chandler Fry called up and said, I'll come, but I don't want to come if you're going to play the bomber course, because I will win by so many strokes it won't be fun for anybody else. And and but you weren't being boastful. You were actually just making an objective evaluation of the course, the courses. And we're like, look, you guys, don't do this. Take that course off the table, and then we can have a competitive tournament. Dude, I think that's brilliant, man.
What's funny about that tournament is I lost to Scott Withers. So
Oh, did you
Yeah.
play the long course?
no, I don't think we did. We ever did.
Well,
I think they took it out.
actually, Scott's got a good arm, so he could have given
Yeah.
you a run for your money out there.
I'm not the most boastful guy. I'm a pretty humble dude. So
No. You weren't being boastful. I think
Yeah.
what it was is now Farragut attracts some really high level players.
oh yeah, it's an
But
incredible
at the
place.
time, I think it was at the northern tip of Idaho with just more of a local community,
Yeah.
and you were just being straight. No, I don't think you're being boastful. I think it's a great story.
Yeah, the Spokane, northern Idaho area is such a mecca for disc golf. It's incredible.
It's incredible up there. I love. There's a few places in the country that are just like soft spots to me as far as the people. Like there's a few that just stand out, and North Idaho is like some of my favorite people in the whole world live up in that one little region.
Yeah, I think so. On the I-90 stretch coming from east to west, going into Idaho and just seeing that sea of trees on I-90 is probably one of the best parts of that drive. Professional disc golfer from Western Washington, I've made that drive so many times.
Yeah.
But every time I hit that northern Idaho spot, I'm like, oh, I'm pretty close to home, so it feels pretty nice.
Right. No, for sure. So you toured for 5 years. Now, what are some of your biggest highlights out there?
Oh man, I've been to all 50 states now. I haven't played disc golf in all 50 states, but I've stopped and hung out in all 50 states, which I think is pretty cool. I think my biggest highlights would have to be my work with Paul Macbeth Foundation and You Play Disc Golf, going to Uganda and Kenya, growing the sport over there, building a few courses, hosting a couple tournaments over there. I think earlier this year they actually had their first juniors tournament in Uganda. In Deje University in Kampala, Uganda, and they had 148 kids show up and play, and that's all thanks to You Play. That's all thanks to Paul Macbeth Foundation. That's all thanks to Israel, my boy over there, doing all the work, getting the people stoked for disc golf. So I'd have to say my work in Africa is definitely the highlight. As far as playing, I've had a couple good tournaments. I've never really been that top guy, but I've had some top 10s, a couple top 5s. But overall, I love disc golf. I love travel. I love meeting new people, go to new places, and I just love Frisbee. I can't get enough of it.
Right. Well, I mean, you have a reputation. It's kind of, I think, in a way, it's like I think about Louis C.K. before he became really like the megastar. The comedians referred to him as a comedian's comedian.
Yeah.
Right. He was beloved within the comedy world. And I think that's kind of like
all the stuff that he did, yeah.
But no, forget that's not what I'm talking about.
Don't worry about that.
No, yeah, 2020. If it was 2022, we couldn't say this. It's 2024 now.
Yeah.
But no, but you're like a disc golfer's disc golfer. Like you are one of the most beloved players on tour. Everybody knows you. Everybody loves you. Everybody respects you. You've become an elder statesman to the younger players.
Yep.
Like you are a really, really, really important player on the pro tour to the players on the pro tour. You're a player's player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, coming from you, that means a lot. I appreciate that. But it's weird to play with kids. I'm going to call them kids because I started playing.
They're children
before they were even born. Like I remember playing with Cole Redolin for the first time, and I'm like, "How old are you?" And he said he was 16, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I started playing 21 years ago. It's just it's a wild experience, and I found myself being jealous a little bit at what they have in disc golf now that they're kind of coming up compared to as when you were playing at your peak or when I was playing when I was 16. But I've kind of come around to change the narrative, and I'm just thankful to be part of disc golf, seeing players like Cole, seeing players like Gannon, like Evan Scott, like just these awesome, incredible young talents that are showing so much promise so early. And especially with Gannon, like I think we're seeing the future GOAT right here, just what he's able to do. I think he's only 19 at this point, maybe 18. But getting to play with him on tour, usually in the first round, if I get lucky enough to pair with him. Yeah, it's just disc golf is booming. The skill is just unrivaled. It's just super fun to be a part of.
For sure. Now, did you make an announcement about your plans for next year?
Not yet, but I'd be willing to make it right here.
Oh, okay. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
say it. I know you've told me, but I didn't know if you've told. If you want to share.
Sure. Yeah. It's I am taking a step back from touring from next year. I'm going to try to. I have a couple logs in the fire. I'm still not entirely sure what my plans are for 2025. I will not be touring. That is 100% for sure. I will possibly play a couple West Coast tournaments like the Northwest Disc Golf Championship and Cascade Challenge, just because they're so close to home. I'd be silly not to play. I'll play locally, but as far as driving 30,000 miles in a year and going to 40 different states playing disc golf, I will not be doing that, and somewhat moving on and starting a new chapter for myself. But I'll announce that chapter when it's more finalized and concrete. But right now, I'm just 100% not touring.
Is the next chapter? I won't pry, but is the next chapter disc golf related, or is it?
Hopefully, but ultimately, I'm looking for just a sense of normalcy in my life. I'm going to try to settle down a little bit, have a consistent paycheck, and just try to be a normal, settled person for once in my life.
Yeah. Well, hey, I told you this in a message.
Yeah.
But I'll repeat it because there's going to be every player. Like every player's got every professional athlete makes a transition.
Yeah.
And it's not easy for anybody or any of us or any professional athlete. I mean, the thing that you couldn't have achieved your level of success without having something inside of you that doesn't want you to keep doing it or being successful. I mean, they go together, right? But I think that anybody that's been able to live their dream for any amount of time, I mean, 5 years on the pro tour is something that you will never regret. You should always be proud of, right?
I agree.
It's a hell of an accomplishment. Not, 1 year is an accomplishment. 5 years is that puts you in such a tiny minority of top disc golfers.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man.
Absolutely. And some of my best friends, some of my best relationships have been made through disc golf and on tour. People like Ella Hansen, James Proctor, Eric Oakley, Erica Stinchcombe, my crew. They're going to be my friends for the rest of my life, no matter if I tour or not. And if anything, I'm most thankful for that, because that's benefited me more than really anything else that I've gotten from disc golf. Just the friendships and the support. And I'm it's bittersweet. I love the lifestyle of touring, travel, but I'm ready for the next step, and I hope it's in disc golf. Either way, I'm not going to be a stranger, but I'm definitely taking a step back, and it'll be fun to experience disc golf, or at least the tour, as a fan for once and not a player. I'm really looking forward to rooting on my friends from afar.
Yeah, it'll be different.
Yeah, for sure.
But look, like I said, everyone loves you. Everyone's going to miss having you out there. But that's just it's the cycle of our life, right?
Yep. I'm just looking for more consistency, and disc golf has provided that in the past, but the last couple of years, it's been far from that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, and I'll keep everyone informed. If you want to follow me on Instagram, and I'll post stories and posts and all that. But yeah, either way.
Well, I hope you land in disc golf.
Has not faded. My love for disc golf.
No, well, I hope you land in disc golf, because you're an asset to the sport. So hopefully that normalcy is a career within our sport. I mean, that would be the best case.
I'll still you'll still see me posting on other people's Instagrams every once in a while.
Gotcha. So who are your now that you're officially a spectator?
Yeah.
Who are you the biggest fans of in MPO and FPO to watch play?
I think my favorite MPO player to watch of all time is Paul McBeth, just because I've loved watching him play. I've grown up playing with him. He's just for how successful he is in the sport and how good he is at the sport. He's so humble and so gracious, and I've always respected that about him. The second, James Proctor. His skill is insane. When he puts it on, he's hard to beat. His circle two putts, when they're on, I'm a decent putter, but he inspires me every round I play with him with what he does. He's an incredible player and just the nicest person. I think you're having him on the show later today.
Yeah.
In FPO, Ella Hansen is my dog, my homie. She has so much skill. She's got to work on this a little bit, but we all do. She won the OTB Open last year, and I think that was a big step for her because it shows that she can do it. She's capable of so much more, and I'm excited for this next year to see what she does. I always enjoy Erica Stinchcomb, one of the two hot geese. She hasn't been at the top lately, but she's got good skill. She's got good form, and she's just the nicest person in the world. So really, the nicer you are, the more I support you, because I feel like I'm a pretty nice guy, and I want that to spread across the sport. So yeah, Ella Hansen, James Proctor, Paul Macbeth, and Erica Stinchcomb. Those are my top 4.
Sounds good. Hey, but 1 second. Message just came in. You can coordinate it. Perfect. I love it. That's why I keep you around. I have someone managing. I just get to sit here and talk to my friends, and then behind the scenes, the machine runs and works. It's really kind of cool. Yeah, I actually when Ella won the OTB, I caught myself crying because it was just so. I know how much it meant to her.
Yep.
And but also just getting over there's pumps because she had the talent to win before she won, and then when she won, it felt like she kind of got the monkey off the back. It was a very beautiful moment.
Yeah, I remember after she won, just going up to her, hugging her, and saying, "I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you," and just walking away to let her celebrate because I had to tee off. So.
Oh, yeah, and I wasn't even playing, so I was just there. I just was watching on the thing, and then I ran over. I was set up at Tournament Central or at the whatever, and then I ran in there to watch the final hole. I was there right next to Leonard Muse, who was right there.
Cool.
And we were watching it together.
Nice.
Hey, guess what? I appreciate your giving me your 15 minutes, and I'm going to kick you off and let you get back to your family, and I'm going to let. I don't know who's on next. I'm going to let somebody jump on. We'll find out.
Good. Thanks for having me, and happy
Love
holidays,
you, Chandler. Well, I know we'll be talking really soon too. So whatever you do, you're going to be successful at it, and everyone loves you. So thank you for being my friend the past 3 years. Us older guys got to stick together.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Scott. I'll see you later.
All right, man. See ya.
See ya.
All right, and the next special Christmas guest. Don't spend Christmas alone, everybody. You get to spend it with the last Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas Garber, who, by the way, I just got to point this out. Nicest shirt I've seen on the Christmas show this year.
Stokely. Yep.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Yeah. Love me some Christmas time.
I know. Yeah. So, but here's my quick introduction, Dallas Garber. If you watch my Christmas shows, I don't plug my stuff. I try to make it as non-commercial as possible. I have players from all the different disc companies, but as part of the introduction, I will say Dallas is the first Stokely Disc sponsored player. But more important than that, what's your rating right now?
1020.
It's 1020. Wait, it's 1020, and you just turned 13?
Yeah, close enough. 17.
No, you just turned 17. You were 1,020 rated 16-year-old, though, at one point.
Yes. I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. You are on a short list of players. You're not the only player at your skill level of your age, but there's it's a short list of players. Does that excite you? Does that scare you? Or are you just oblivious to it? You just go out and play. Like, do you even think about where your position is in the sport?
So I would love to be oblivious to it. I mean, that'd be great. But with my mindset, it's not really possible. I have the tendency to go into every tournament and seeing where I'm ranked at, and I feel like that's one of my bigger problems. But yeah, I definitely think about it. not the best, but I also like to know where I'm at, like ranking in the world, in my state, city, all that. It's
So I
nice
don't think
to,
that's a bad thing. It just means you're competitive.
yeah.
So competitive is not a bad thing. So you had a heck of a year. What were the highlights this year?
Oh man, memory. Highlights. I mean, even though I didn't make the cut, going to Worlds is such an amazing experience. Flying out to West Virginia to play the Seth Burr Memorial, the A tier first, and then driving over to Virginia to play Worlds. It's really cool. Pretty sure I beat you there, which is awesome. But
I don't.
I don't know.
I don't recall. I'm pretty sure I beat you, but I don't recall. There's no reason to look it up.
I definitely recall, but somebody wants to make sure they can look it up. Pretty sure my name's 2 strokes above yours.
Okay, well, that's not how I remember it, but that's okay. I'm also older, so I don't necessarily have the best memory. No, it's. I mean, no, look, I knew you when you were like years ago.
Yeah.
And it's amazing watching you and improve. You had some success at some A tiers this year.
Yeah, I won my first A tier recently at McCormick. That was the, oh my God, what was it called? Columbia Cup. Thank you, person in the background. Columbia
You're supposed
Cup.
to know this stuff.
I don't know. Putting me on the spot. No.
That's the
Yeah,
idea of a
first A
live
tier
interview.
win.
Get over it. Get used to it. I mean.
First
So
A
here's an
tier win at
interesting thing
Columbia
about
Cup.
you that I'm going to point something out that I've observed that I think it's interesting. So you are very aware of right now in the moment where you're ranking, where you're standing, where you're going to be, right? But at the same time, every single time I've asked you about tournaments this year, you always are like, you don't remember, you don't recall. So you are very fixated on now and the future. But then once something's happened, it seems like it's kind of out of your head. I'd be willing to bet that's actually a pretty positive athletic trait to have. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing, right? I mean, because the past is the past. Like, now and the future is what matters, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's like that for most tournaments. The only one that does stay in my head is Junior Worlds events, pretty much. And that's the only event that's stuck in my head. Just
What? Why? What? Tell me about it.
just bad performances at Junior Worlds, and I don't know, that like name title, it's always put so much like stress in my mind. Whenever I'm playing with some friends back here at home and I have like a big putter sign in a practice round, they'll be like, "This is for Junior Worlds" or something. And I just whiff it. I don't know. It's that name or something.
Now that's fine. So your plans, like when you when you think about your future in disc golf, do you think about like your whole future laid out in front of you, your whole career in front of you, or do you think more about like how can I be better this week? Like, do you think like here's what it's going to be like to be a world champion someday, and here's what it's going to be like to sign this big deal? I mean, or are you more in the moment?
I mean, I would hope like we all have dreams and like aspirations about stuff in the future, but the farthest that we plan is usually the next year or the year after that at most. But myself, it's usually a month by month thing. Trying to get better each month, trying to improve. Maybe my forehand this month, maybe my C2 putting changes or something. That's more of where my mindset is.
Who did you model your game after, or did you model it after anybody?
So I mean, I started playing in the peak of like the COVID pandemic, and so it was all like YouTube videos and instruction tutorials like that. Paul Macbeth, obviously, he was best player of all time. So trying to model him, Cora Dolan being the local hero over here, one of the best forms, maybe of all time. He's
Yeah.
amazing. And then another person was Eagle McMahon. I don't think I throw similar at all to Eagle, but try to replicate some things. I don't think they've carried over though. That one was mostly because my mom really likes Eagle. So I wanted to try to replicate it a little bit at least.
Gotcha. Where's your mental game at?
Just like how it's going.
Yeah, do you feel good about your mental game? Like, it's like what are your strengths and what are the things you're working on?
For people who know me, people who have like seen me play, mental game is definitely not my strongest part, but I do think it's improved over the years. I've gotten better at getting angry to the point that like I can't throw the next shots. I feel like I've been able to still play the rest of the tournament, the rest of the round with the same focus and game style. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely improve on trying not to be thinking about the past during the round, kind of like you were saying earlier. Like for tournaments right now, it's hard for me to think about the past, but when I'm in the middle of a round, I think about like hole 2 when I missed a circle 1 putt or something, when I should just be thinking about the next throw. That's something that Zoe Ann Dyke has always tried to tell me. One of her like better advice is just think about the next shot. That's the one that matters the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's something that and I'm asking you these questions because as a younger player, I think it's interesting to see where you're at, because when you're older, you can look back in hindsight and realize what things you should be working on or what matters. But it's was curious as a younger player if your mind was in those places. What I think people don't understand, especially I think younger players, is that you need to work on every aspect of the game, and so mental game can be something you have to work at. It doesn't mean that you work at putting, driving, sidearm, the gem, and then mental game just improves like automatically. Like it has to be trained like everything else, and you recognize that.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. I mean, that's the right mindset. It's the growth mindset. So next year, what are your plans?
For tournaments?
Yeah.
So we're gonna play as many tour events without going over the rookie threshold, which I believe means we're gonna play 4 tournaments on the tour. So
what for? Do you know?
Des Moines Challenge, the Pacific Northwest Championships, Cascade, and no? On which one? Not Cascade. Not Cascade, apparently. I don't know the other 2 then 100%. I don't want to get corrected.
Would are you thinking about trying to go to Worlds?
No, not going to go to Worlds. It being in Europe right now, too much of a baby into the sport to be going overseas right now.
You think so? All right.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, you have plenty of years in front of you. By the way, you'll love Des Moines. Des Moines has the best gallery in the sport, I think. Not to knock every other amazing gallery out there, but the group at Des Moines, the group on hole 5 at Des Moines is a very special experience. You're going to have a lot of fun out there for sure. And the course is fantastic. I think Gannon had a lot to do with the course. Really, really, really fun course. So any messages for your growing fan base because I'm going to let you get back to your family in about 3 minutes. So anything you want to share to all the people following you?
Well, going to announce a new stamp that I've got. Will be dropping on January 1st. So start of the year. This is the Stokely Discs Lark.
The Stokely Discs Lark. Okay.
So it's a commemorative Dallas Garber first Stokely Discs player. The Lark is your newest disc, newest mold, right?
Mm-hmm.
really controllable fairway. I don't think you've released flight numbers yet, right?
Nope.
Could I give an interpretation of what I think they are?
Sure.
I would say it's a probably 7.5 -2.1 would be my guess.
Ballpark. Yeah, I think you're in the ballpark.
Yeah, but really nice. But I don't know. Cool stamp. Absolutely love it. So those will be releasing on January 1st.
And the only reason I'm allowing you to plug Stokely discs on my show, because I don't plug my own stuff, is that I also encourage all the players to plug their sponsors. So you get a pass on that one. I appreciate that. Hey, I'm going to kick you off and let you get back to your family. Please give your mom and your dad and everybody my love. And it's been great getting to know you over the years. I can't wait to see what we can do next year. It's going to be, well, what you can do, but what I can be a part of as well. Pretty cool stuff, man.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. And we will, I'm sure we'll be talking real soon, man. Have a great New Year.
Yeah.
See you, man. All right. Who is the next available person? It's going to be somebody amazing. Emily,
Hi, how are you?
the 2024 Disc Golf Pro Tour Rookie of the Year.
hmm
And we're waiting for one more person to log on. No. Well, guess what? We're going to chat with you, and if we get someone else to log on right now, they'll log on. If not, either way. How's it going? Are you in Abilene?
Yes, I'm in Abilene. I'm actually at my grandparents' Christmas, and I just stepped away so I could do this.
Well, I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
All
of
your
course.
fans will as well. It's been really, really nice getting to know you this past year. Been a lot of fun. I was kind of upset when you won the Des Moines Challenge. I've told you that, right?
Maybe? Why?
Wait, I didn't tell you? Well,
Maybe
because
not.
because you had been we had been talking, and you tested out some of my discs, and I was like, hey, here's this up and coming player that I could afford to sponsor. And then the minute you won the Des Moines Challenge, I
Yeah.
looked over at Adrienne and I was like, I'm not going to be able to afford her now.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to say I was probably the only person out there rooting against you, but I was just thinking about myself.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I had a question. I never asked you this. Hey, what's up, Robert Burge?
What's up?
Let me give the quick introduction. So Emily Weatherman, 2024 Disc Golf Pro Tour Rookie of the Year, also won the Des Moines Challenge, so a tour winner. And then Robert Burge is the 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour Rookie of the Year. And I know that year you got a second place. Well, you got a second. It was also Des Moines.
Yep, it was also Des Moines.
Also Des Moines. That's wild. So welcome, you guys both. I will come back to you in a minute, Robert. But so Emily, I wanted to know, were you surprised that you won a tour event your first year out?
Kind of not. I knew I had it in me. I was surprised at how early in the season I won it, but I wasn't surprised that I won it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's it's always it's one of those things where, like, if you thought you were going to win a tour event and you didn't, people would think that was crazy to think you were going to win your first year. But if you didn't think you were going to win, you probably wouldn't have won, right? Because you wouldn't have had the right mindset. So it's almost like, in order to be successful, you have to be delusional enough to think you have a chance at winning. And then it just turns out you're not delusional, but that's hindsight.
Yeah.
Why did you win? What part of the game was like? I mean, you beat a stacked field.
Yeah. I would just say, like, continuing to believe in myself and pick myself up even after something bad would happen. I had a really good mindset during the entire tournament, and in the tournaments that I didn't win, my mindset wasn't as good. So if I can just get back to that, I can make it happen again.
What do you do? Like what steps do you take, or what do you do to create that mindset?
You know, if I knew the steps I took, I would take them again.
Okay,
um,
that,
I'm
that's a
just kind of figuring it out.
that's a fair answer. Love it, Robert.
What's up?
It is so good to see you. Where are you? Are you in Houston?
I'm not. I'm in Auburn at my grandparents' house currently.
Oh, where's that?
Auburn, Alabama.
Oh, Auburn, Alabama. Okay, I know you were going back and forth. Just like Emily, I've really enjoyed getting to know you this season. We spent more time with you this year than we had spent before. We had crossed paths, but we'd really never spent time together. Actually, I think we actually got to know each other. Come to think of it, we were in Ann Arbor,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Adriana says, "Hey, I think this is where Burge lives." Right? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And I was like, "Oh, I wonder if." And I messaged you, and we met for dinner that night.
Yeah, I was up that weekend doing a clinic for the University of Michigan
That's right. Yeah,
disc
yeah.
golf team, and we ended up having dinner, having sushi at my favorite spot up there. So
That's right. Okay, I remember
it was
now.
really nice.
That's cool. So I want to ask you, because you were the 2022 Rookie of the Year. That was your first year on tour. How many years had you been playing disc golf at that point? Because you came from Ultimate, which I want to talk to you
Yeah.
about. But
Yeah.
how many years were you a golfer?
I'd say I started playing my first tournament that wasn't a like Flex C tier was in 2018. I played one Flex C tier in 2017. Besides that, everything is 2018 and beyond.
Okay,
And
so
I
you were
mean,
only out for 4 years before you were on the tour.
yeah, and it helped that I was in college and COVID hit and I had nothing else to do during the day but be on the course and play.
How did you transition from Ultimate to golf successfully? Because that is not common.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ultimate skills, I wouldn't say they automatically harm you, but in some ways they harm you.
Yes, and I'd say even now if I'm not playing confident, my old like Ultimate habits definitely come back up because I was an Ultimate player first. So that, comes with, air bouncing or hyzering something more.
Wait, unintentionally air bouncing golf discs?
Yeah, because my Ultimate throw naturally had an air
Sure.
bounce in it because usually I would go like under the defender's arms. And so that was air bounce was a good throw for me. And I could send it deep if I needed to, but I was much more of an air bouncer than a pure thrower in Ultimate.
And that actually comes up in your golf game still.
Yeah, and it's it's something I know how to fix and know how to spot much, much quicker now. But I mean, it just took years and years of playing disc golf and Ultimate in the same day. For me going out to a course when I was in college and then playing Ultimate for my team's practice later that day, or before and after practice throwing disc golf discs. And so it's just constantly having to go back and forth, ingraining that it is different and you need to be throwing them differently.
Do you use Ultimate skills on the golf course though?
I do when I think about nose angles or flight or how much airtime I want. Like there's skills that I use, especially when it comes to approach shots, especially touchy shots, where I'm trying to understand the flight of how much like angle I want to get on a disc immediately, how long it's going to pan out.
Okay.
With Ultimate discs, you throw them inside out or hyzer and have them, flip up for you. And then they glide for a while. But a lot of times in disc golf, it's a similar flight. You just start it flat instead. You don't get that early movement.
Gotcha. Emily.
Yes.
You are going to be touring next year.
Mm-hmm.
Are some of the details still private? What's going on next year?
They are private.
Okay.
In January, everybody will figure out. But I gave a little bit of a teaser on my last Instagram post. I didn't really give any hints as to who, or what company, but I did give a teaser and let people guess, which I thought was really exciting to see everybody's guesses on who I'm going to go to. But it is private until January.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea if I kept throwing out names and then was told, no, it's not them. And then when I threw out a specific name, I was told, I'm not going to tell you. And I put those pieces together. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm just
Not
kidding.
at all.
I'm totally joking. I just totally made all of that up. I'm totally made all that up, you guys. I have no idea, but whoever you're with is going to be very lucky to have you. And I'm sure it's going to be a great situation for you. So you got an RV this year?
Mm-hmm.
Did you tour in the RV at all last year, or is this something just off season?
I didn't. I toured during 2024 in the RV for
Okay, so
after Des Moines is whenever I got the RV, and since Des Moines I've been in the RV.
okay, I thought you were doing some like remodel or something. Am I just confused? I'm old. I get confused.
Wrong person.
Then ignore me. That's old person talking. So what is the first tournament of the year?
So Rob and I are actually going to New Zealand for the Tour Down Under. So we're leaving January 7th.
For
and
real?
I think, is it January 8th, Rob, that our first tournament starts? Do we have?
No. So we're flying January 7th, which is a Tuesday. And with time changes, we're getting in January 9th. And we're going to have
how long are you there for?
Full month. We're flying back February 10th.
Oh my God, you guys are going to have so much fun. How many tournaments down there?
It's 4 in 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
4 tournaments in 5 weeks. And it's probably North and South Island?
Mm-hmm. I believe so, at least.
That's crazy. I love that. You guys, I mean, I was there 2 years ago. It's as amazing as it seems. Basically, like if you put a spectrum of with West Texas on one side, on the other side of it's like New Zealand as far as just like the terrain and the rolling hills. It's like when you've seen Lord of the Rings, like it's not misleading. It's not like you get out there and it's lame, except for that one place where they shot the movie. It's like the whole place is Lord of the Rings. You guys will have an amazing time. So, and you're going to Europe, of course.
Yes.
How long are you going over there for? Do you know yet?
We don't actually have it completely planned out yet, so I'm not sure, but we're at least doing the 2 majors there, I believe.
2 majors, and likely at least the one right before the European Festival, European Open, whatever they named that, the one in Estonia.
The one in Estonia?
Yeah. I'm not sure if they renamed it European Open, but it was the European Festival last year where Ricky showed
the one everyone was raving about. It's the greatest tournament ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's gonna be wild.
Well, probably the one before it is Krokol as well, which I think is still the #1 course on UDisc.
Have you played Krokol?
I did. I played it this past year in 2024.
Okay, but you haven't played it, Emily.
I've never been overseas at all.
Oh, you never been? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Krokol. How do you do with anxiety? That course will give you more anxiety. There's not a single basket on that course where you just have this like easy approach shot. Like every single shot. No, and I mean this in the best possible way. It is so much fun for a professional level player because they don't hand you nothing out there. Every single shot you have to execute with a professional. You have to hit your angles and like. Is that right? Would you agree, Burge?
Oh, definitely. It's from hole 1 to hole 18, you need to be focused. The greens are all like pretty fair. Like
they're fair for sure.
Yeah, there's none where you're sitting there kind of like an Ivy with the hole that was on like a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
There's none of those. It's all really like fair greens, but you need to know where to throw it on those greens, where to miss. If you're throwing a tee shot, you need to know where to miss, where the OB is, how far you want to throw it. And you know, it risk reward is every hole. I'm not even gonna lie when I say that. It's every hole. I think Scott will agree with me on that.
No, if you miss metal on your putt, you're going OB, possibly, or you're at the bottom of a hill. So you got to make that decision. But I think even more fun than that is when you're 70 feet out, there's no just chucking it up to the basket ever. You actually have to like look at every single hole and go, I want to land on the right side and I need to be landing with an Anheuser angle. And if you don't execute, guess what? You know, you didn't throw a pro shot. No, you'll have a great time in Crow Cole. Crow Cole is so much fun. No, I'm so happy for you guys. I've really, really enjoyed getting to know both of you this year. I'm stepping away. I'll be around a little bit. I'll see everybody, but you are definitely two of the people I will be rooting for every single tournament you play. I hope you all are just wildly successful and just you got so many years in front of you to enjoy. I'm so jealous, but I'm glad you're going to New Zealand. It sounds like you guys are you're set, man. You got the world by the tail. So enjoy every second of it, both of you, and thank you for taking time out of your Christmas to say hi.
Of course.
Say hi to your
fans.
Yeah.
You bet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Best of luck to you in next season, and I'll be following.
Sounds good.
Right, thanks, y'all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Okay, now the most special guest of the day. I have no idea who it is. James Proctor.
Hey, Scott.
Pretty special guest. What's up, buddy?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Where are you right now?
I'm in Reno, Nevada.
And what is in Reno, Nevada that brings you to Reno, Nevada?
My wife's family.
Okay. That's where you're doing Christmas?
Yeah, we alternate every year. So we were with my family for Thanksgiving, wife's for Christmas. Next year we'll flip-flop.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of the day to join, man. I'm really happy to talk to you. You have been you are a hell of a story this year, buddy.
Thank you.
So tell me about what was the first big win of the season for you?
Swedish Open.
I'll tell you the most telling thing about that tournament. By the way, it's a rhetorical question. Obviously, I was aware of it. When you won the Swedish Open, I saw a compilation video they put out of a bunch of touring players, and they asked them, which pro player do you think is the most likely to break out and get their first DGPT win? Did you see that compilation?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, like you were by far the most chosen player. So I guess that would mean nobody was surprised.
I mean, I did have a good 2023. So, I feel like I kind of proved that I belonged there. I kind of just had to get over the hump. But I'm definitely glad it happened.
Dude, do you belong there? And we'll get to the even bigger win in a minute. But you belong there since. Do you remember when we first met?
Vegas?
Yes,
I do remember.
And then you told me that you, at the time, you recall you're a school teacher.
I was, yeah. I think I was still teaching at that point.
And I might have chewed you out over that.
I recall a conversation that, walking down one of the fairways, like, dude, you need to commit to this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just saw this talent in you that was like, it was like, because we have windows as athletes. I mean, mine closed like 20 years ago, but you have a window, but you can't go back. And you can go back and have an experience. Like I'm having an experience, but it's like you can't go back and be your peak physical age again. And I just was like, what a shame if the sport didn't get to have someone like you at their peak, at least for a few years.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate, you having that conversation with me and kind of watching. I remember I was at USCGC and I watched you give your Hall of Fame speech, and just your lifelong commitment to the sport is really inspiring. So it means a lot coming from you.
I appreciate that. All right, now let's get through let's move on to the big moment. Okay. So, I mean, not that the Swedish Open wasn't a big moment. I love you, Sweden. Don't get the wrong idea. But you went to Maple Hill.
Yes.
When you went to Maple Hill and you were practicing Maple Hill, how did you feel about your game before the tournament?
Not great, honestly. I didn't play well in Vermont the week before, and so I think mentally just tried to simplify everything. And Maple's a tricky course. You can't really go out there and try to birdie every hole. You kind of have to play smart and pick holes you want to be aggressive. And so I really just, like, with my game plan, brought it back to the basics and just tried to simplify everything. I was really kind of focused on just being under par. No bogeys, no giving away easy strokes. Just take the birdies when you can and just try to be under par every round. That was really my main goal.
Well, the one round you played in heavy rain, didn't you?
Yeah, the first round, I think I shot 4 under in the rain, and I was stoked on that.
Yeah, that's gross. That's
Yeah.
so annoying. But but let me, before, I want to ask you about that. So there's holes out there that you're playing for par.
Yeah, I mean, like, depending on where the tee shot lands, a couple of them depending on the basket position. Hole 1 in the long, unless I threw the best tee shot of my life, I was just gonna play it for par. I wasn't comfortable throwing a sidearm through that triple mando, first sidearm of the day, starting with a
Okay.
bogey. Like, I just wasn't interested in it. Hole 3, I'm kind of playing the turnover through that gap. I don't really care if the disc fades back or not. If it does, great. But really, I'm kind of happy with a par on that one. 6, I'm really just trying to throw a forehand somewhere down there. Like, I'm not trying to park it or even throw it in the circle. When 9 was in, I mean, even really both positions, but when it was in that long position, no, I guess I was playing that for birdie, but that's also a hole, I wasn't going to be very aggressive if I was slightly out of position. I was going to safely play for par unless I had a beautiful tee shot. Yeah, so certain holes, some of them, a lot of holes on the back, I guess I'm trying to birdie.
Right.
But yeah, I think that course is tough. And I think if you get too focused on trying to birdie a lot of those holes, you might get frustrated and you might try to press or divert from your game plan. So really my goal was, just par the bad holes and birdie the good ones and keep it under par.
Well, I mean, and which you did.
Yeah.
No, but you don't hear a lot of players doing course management nowadays. I mean, the skill level is so high, and everybody's like 14 years old, so they're not afraid of anything.
Yep.
And so there is a lot of hyper aggression on the course. Like, I mean, are the players you're competing against, do they also talk about playing some of the holes for par? I mean, I'm really mesmerized by this because all you ever hear from the young players is well, not just here, you watch them just be hyper aggressive every single shot. This is almost the first time I've heard a course management conversation from a top player. Is that a common conversation that you've had with other players, or are you unique in that way?
I think I might be a little bit unique in that way, at least, with the guys in the top 20. I feel like a lot of those guys are, with their skill level, they are more than capable of birdieing every hole. And, for my game plan, I think I play better when I take my foot off the gas a little bit. I think throwing hyper aggressive lines is not my strength. I'm more of almost just throw the high percentage, more simple shot and then earn the stroke with the putt. That's kind of how I like to attack. And I feel like, Maple's not really like a OB ridden course on every hole, like some of the golf courses we play. But I think just the fact that, for me, giving away easy strokes is kind of my downfall. And so if I can throw high percentage shots and take pars and be happy with pars and then get birdies when I can, then I'm going to play a lot better.
Okay, one last question before we get to hole 18 on the final day.
Yeah.
Did you always feel this way about playing within your game, or is this something that you've matured into?
I think it's something I've matured into. I think, I never had my sidearm has never been a weapon. It's definitely better now than it has been in the past, but I was always kind of willing to throw a backhand and take the 40-footer as opposed to trying to park it with a sidearm. And so,
Okay.
there's been a little bit of willing to play it safe, but I definitely think, that game plan has been improved on throughout the years. I think I've learned from past mistakes from being too aggressive.
Okay. All right. So you played a really good tournament at Maple Hill.
Mhm.
You get to hole 18, you're leading by 2 on the tee pad, correct?
I don't even know. I don't know if I maybe only had Gossage by 1. I'm not sure where Gossage was at, but I
Okay.
had Macbeth by 2, so I could bogey and still beat Macbeth. But I didn't know any of it when I was standing on the box. I had no idea any of the scores.
Is that something you purposely don't want to know? I mean, it's important to know, yes? Or do you
Yeah, I
prefer
think
just?
it's situational. I think, coming down the stretch on that course, 15, 16, 17, you're trying to birdie all those holes. Like there doesn't know you don't do any good, laying up a safe tee shot on 17 and playing it for par. You might as well be aggressive and get the birdie, especially because you want as many strokes as you can get going into 18. So
Mhm.
I felt like for me it didn't matter. I was just trying to birdie, and then 18 I would have looked after the tee shot had I thrown a good tee shot. Because then, do I play safe? Do I go for the island? Like, what do I need to do? But because of where my tee shot landed, it also didn't even really matter. I didn't have a chance to go to the green. So then my next shot was a layup no matter what. Um, but for me, I figured if I could not care what the scores were, just execute that tee shot, I thought I would have, had a higher likelihood of throwing a good tee shot, or as opposed to checking the scores and knowing what the
Mm.
situation was.
Okay, so when you stepped up to the second shot,
Mhm.
which is the one you threw OB,
Second shot I laid up
or second
inbounds
shot
by
you
the
laid up.
tree.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Because there was no other play really for me.
That's right.
Um,
And then
third shot
the shot after that.
was the little sidearm that went OB.
Yeah. So what happened there?
I
Just
mean,
execution?
yeah, I knew. I mean, I only could have laid up like 20 or 30 more feet, and it still would have been a tough shot onto the green. So I knew I was going for it, and I knew, don't do that little saw off, leave it short. Like at least give it the height to land on the island or cross over. And so, I was throwing a zone, standstill sidearm. I'd practiced it a little bit, and I kind of just told myself, keep it on hyzer and throw it high enough, and it'll get to the ground and it'll be safe. And out of the hand, I liked it. Maybe I swung it a little wide, and maybe I erred too much on missing long, but I liked it out of the hand. I kept it on hyzer. I gave it height, thought it was good, saw it hit the rock wall and fall over, and maybe had like a brief second of panic because I didn't know what the situation was still at this point. Um, and then I thought, okay, well, at least you have the drop zone putt. You made it yesterday. And honestly, the thought that crept into my head was, what do you do if you make it? Do you celebrate like you won, or did you just lose the tournament by throwing it out of bounds? I didn't know. And so I asked Allie, I said, what happens if I make it? She looked at me like, you win. And so then that was all I was thinking about. So then I just walked up and putted it. And I didn't know if I missed, if I still won. I had no idea about Macbeth, like waiting for a playoff.
Mhm.
I just didn't want to make it and then stand there and look like an idiot not knowing the situation. So I wanted to know
Right.
what happened if I made it. And
Well,
that's it.
the picture that I posted. Well, first off, that was the moment of the year. Like I would say, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
the iconic shot of you running around the corner with your hands up in the air, which you can't see on the screen because it's vertical. But that of you running around the corner is one of the and will be one of the most iconic photos in the history of our sport. I mean, that's like a montage before the ESPN World Championships are aired. That'll be a shot that is shown. Did you like obviously it was a big deal to you, but did you recognize what a big deal that was in the sport?
No, and I still honestly like it comes and goes. Sometimes I realize how big of a deal it was, and sometimes I don't. And having all those pictures is amazing. Rewatching the live coverage and the Jomez and the commentary and remembering kind of what was going on in my brain at the time. And um, I remember feeling so in control in the moment, and looking at it now, watching myself, I'm like, geez, how was I able to stay composed? Um, but in the moment, I was so in control, and I never really let the thoughts creep in, like, oh my gosh, you could win, don't blow it, blah blah blah. None of that really happened. It was just one shot at a time. Keep the heart rate low, you know. But it is a lot of fun to kind of rewatch it back and feel the emotion. With the crowd. And I remember my favorite thing, like going to my family when I got home and my wife and everything. It was just like, I wanted to know, I wish I had hidden cameras everywhere and I could have seen their reactions.
Right.
That's kind of been my favorite part, is like, what were you feeling in this moment? Where were you sitting? What happened? Like, I kind of wish I could have been there watching with everyone. But yeah, it is pretty special.
No, it was a special moment for all of us because it's hard to even, I think, predict what type of situations just have that emotional like visceral response as an audience. I mean, things just they happen to fall in place in the right way. Like
Yeah.
if you don't throw it out of bounds and you win, that's not the same moment. I mean, it's
100%.
the same victory for you, but it's not an iconic moment. It's just, oh, he threw his approach shot under the basket. That's what pros do. That's
Yeah.
why he won. But it's not. I think it's because of the fact that you could have lost it. This moment that was just heart wrenching, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
it's not. You're not letting anybody take it from you. I don't know. It was amazing, and so I hope you don't get too tired of talking about it because
Never.
okay, all right. I appreciate that. Hey, guess what? I got to kick you off and let you get back to your family. Please thank them for me for letting me borrow you for 15 minutes. And thank you so much, man. Congratulations on an amazing season. You're going to be out touring next year, I assume.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Well,
Thank you,
good. Well,
Scott.
good. I'll be rooting for you. You're one of my favorite people. Everybody, I only invite my favorite people on the show, so I'm not biased with like manufacturers and stuff like that. I'm only biased with I only bring on my favorite people because it's my show. So you're on that list. So congratulations on all your success and kill it next year, man. Best
I
to
appreciate
you.
it, Scott.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. And the next people that are going to be on is going to be, hey, what's up, guys?
Say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas. Hey, we got three of you. Merry Christmas, guys. I'm going to introduce you guys really quick to the audience because I'm really excited to spend Christmas with you. So this is the Down Syndrome Disc Buddies. Well, three of the Disc Buddies. The first Down Syndrome Disc Golf Club that I'm aware of anywhere in the Finger Lakes of New York. And when I first, congratulations. And when I first met you guys, I came out to teach a disc golf class. And when I showed up, I didn't know that you all played. You all had golf bags, you had golf discs, you knew all the rules, which meant I said, I don't want to teach a class. How about we just play disc golf? You remember we just played disc golf together that day?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
We remember.
Robert. Yeah, we do remember.
yes, I remember very well. So can you introduce yourselves?
My name is Satchel.
Satchel?
My full name before that is such a place where I'm from Lucas.
Long name.
It's a very long name. I remember.
Yes, I do. Hi, my name is Peter Luna.
Hello, Peter Luna.
Hi.
And
Who is
Curtis DeYo.
yes, and Curtis. I remember Curtis. Curtis has a great sidearm. Remember? I remember that.
Yes. Show your muscles. Strong arms, right? Yeah.
Yes. I've now shot 2 rounds with the Disc Buddies, and next time I come to New York, we'll shoot a 3rd round. So I want to talk to you guys about Christmas before we talk about disc golf. Did you get any great presents today?
Yeah, I got this from my sister.
What did you get?
Say Arkansas shirt from your sister.
It's not. I said it's more like Arkansas sunset.
Sweatshirt. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
I got the Popular Fest. We do the Hanukkah at Christmas.
Yeah. So Satchel's waiting for Hanukkah to start tonight.
Yep, it's
so
today.
Oh, how exciting!
Yes.
Yep, tomorrow morning, Satchel's will be come to the house of 508 Coastal Road.
Okay. Curtis, what did you get for Christmas?
New movie.
New movie. Nice.
What movie?
What movie?
Baseball.
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what one that was? I don't know if I know that one.
I think I know it.
Hello?
What?
Huh?
Red one? Red one?
New one.
Oh, the red one? That one?
No.
Oh,
Red one or the
red
Yeah.
one.
Red one? Okay.
Yeah.
Peter, what's something you got for Christmas?
I got new the microphone.
New wireless microphone.
Yes, you got a microphone to make videos with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is so much fun. So I want to know, guys. Well, first off, thanks, Mom, for helping.
Yeah.
I appreciate you very much. What is your favorite thing about disc golf?
That.
Say my
It's
favorite-
me.
Yes. I'm gonna do this in this now.
That is the nicest thing anyone's ever said. Thank you so much, Peter.
Yeah. I do a disc golf and Scott Smith.
Yep. What's your favorite thing about disc golf?
We know 2 disc golfers for this. No. Names are Nick, Timon, and Amy Smith.
So you like all your friends that play together? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, friends are the best.
Mhm.
Yeah, we make a plan like this. We must let Scott Smith know and Deb Timon know.
Everybody knows, but everybody can't make it every time, right?
Right.
Yeah, but we always
Yeah.
we include everyone, and who can make it can make it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And how about you, Curtis?
Favorite thing about disc golf?
Baseball. Baseball.
Throwing it far? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how far?
Yeah, I know you throw really far, Curtis. I've seen you throw. So you guys, I have a really special announcement, but I can only give you a part of the announcement. You want to hear the announcement?
Yeah.
So we are going to be announcing, it's going to be a surprise. I can't share all the surprise, but we have another player. We have a girl with Down syndrome who's also going to be part of the Blue Power team. And we're going to announce it in January.
Nice.
Is that exciting?
Yes.
Yep.
Where is
It
she
is.
from?
Where's that seed from?
Where is she from? I don't think we want to. What? I think we're going to keep that one a top secret. It's going to be a big secret. I just wanted to let you guys know first that you have another team member. that it's going to be really, really exciting. But I want to announce her when she gets her own day all to herself.
Awesome.
That way she gets a special announcement day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I wanted to do something. I asked Tanya. Tanya is Peter's mom, who's the first person I spoke with when I got to know the Disc Buddies. I would love it if the parents could jump on, if they were willing to do that. And I want to ask the parents some questions about disc golfing with the buddies.
Well, I'm here. We have one more in the background.
Okay. Hello, one more in the background.
Hi, Scott.
We had
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm Curtis's mom. I just don't want to be on video.
Yeah, we met this year, right?
Yes. Met last year too. 2 times.
Oh, and last year also. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask the parents, what was it like introducing disc golf to the buddies? Was this something that you knew about disc golf, or how did this all start?
Well, so I initiated this, and during COVID, when everyone was isolated and everything, and I had to get Peter out, and I had to keep him moving, for his health and everything, and sanity, more or less. And we've had a beautiful disc golf park in our city that we've never really utilized, but we knew it was there down by the lake and everything. So I started looking it up. I knew a little bit. I went to the local hobby shop, bought us some discs, and then I took Peter out, and we just, get him out walking, getting into. I knew nothing about disc golf. I am not sporty in any way. So in order, and I'm a special education teacher, so I'm always looking to learn things and stuff and to teach others. And I started researching. I came across one of your videos, Scott, where you were teaching about the scarecrow stance, and talking to Peter. And when he could do it and he was starting to do well, that was great. So then little by little, started inviting his friends and joining in. And next thing you know, we had them like playing every week. And they picked up the rules. They, got together. They would say, hey, can we go play disc golf today at other times? And, so it kind of just branched from that. And these guys are very busy with a lot of different things. So when they dedicated time every week to get together and play, that was amazing. So, it's little, let's see, 3 of these 4 are in a band also. So they do gigs, and they have that, so they have busy lives. Yeah.
The Dapper Rat.
The Dapper Rats. Yep. So, so we get them together as often as we can, and they still enjoy it. Mm-hmm.
I know. I remember I was talking to you about when Peter told you that he called me one day.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
I was like, that made my whole day. I was so happy to hear from you, Peter. You're always welcome to call.
Okay.
That's always going to be fun. So, what advice, parents, do you have for other parents with kids with Down syndrome that might be interested in this hobby? Like, any advice to give to them about introducing the game?
What do you think, Diane?
Get some discs and get the people throwing, and just have a great time. The guys just love it.
Yeah. We reined in some local people that have played as well. So when you weren't available, we need some other reinforcements, because I really didn't know much about it. So they played with a couple friends and, other people, right? And Peter, actually, he lives in an apartment complex with 12 other people with disabilities, and their staff bought a basket to put in the backyard so that Peter can practice. And Nick, who's part of the original group of buddies, lives there. And, so they get their other staff and other, people playing even in the backyard. So it's, it's branched out a little bit, and right. So I think the best advice was just get them out there, whether everyone can do something, like Curtis, we keep saying has an amazing throw, because he really does. But does everyone? No, but everyone enjoys it. Everyone finds what they're good at. Peter likes doing the sidearm a lot. Doesn't mean that they all do that. So it's just giving them a disc, and trying to figure out the right disc for the player. That was kind of the hardest thing for me, but
Right.
hopefully with maybe some more blue power initiatives, we'll have some discs that will be coming out that might, be good all around disc, so that they can all feel successful.
That is right around the corner, the blue power disc. We're waiting. We had to wait for everything to be after the first of the year because we're just kind of getting caught up with this brand new business. But we got the design. You've seen the designs we've sent out. Like, it's ready to go.
Yeah. Awesome.
I want to pass along one piece of advice to anybody listening. Reach out to your local disc golf club or pro shop. They always want to help introduce the game to new players. So that would be my advice to everybody. Hey, I want to let you guys get back to Christmas. Thank you so much for joining. Do you want to wish everybody that's watching a Merry Christmas?
Yep. Say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy Hanukkah. Yes.
Yes, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you had fun, and I cannot wait to come back to New York and play another round with you.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Scott.
Yep. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you, parents, for joining as well.
Enjoy your travels.
We will for sure. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Amazing. I hope they will join the show every year. I think they're the most popular guests on the show, and I hopefully will be a tradition as long as they're having fun. Hey, Mr. Charles Richard, aka Poodle, how's it going?
It's good. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hey, Scott, thanks a lot for putting me on after the superstars there. I mean, you're always looking out for me. Following Proctor's one thing, but the disc buddies.
Yeah, they're amazing.
It's like getting beat in my own home in a putting contest by you.
What? Yes.
It's like getting beat in my own home in a putting contest.
That's my job. My job is beating people at putting.
Oh,
hey, I got a quick introduction. So this is Charles Richard III, also known as Poodle. Feel free to call him Poodle. He is a 6-time world champion, a 2-time world freestyle champion. No, let's see.
Tommy Dave and I won WIFTIF in 97. So
97.
One time for freestyle, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Oh, you got second place in the Penthouse putting competition, second place at a dozen state overall tournaments. To me,
yes,
I know that's how I roll, and other accolades. But I've been friends with Chuck for many. Well, we were friends years and years ago, and we lost touch for like 20 years, and we reconnected a couple years ago, and it's been great. Chuck also runs a private course, or not private course, but created a course in Montana, Wilderness Disc Golf, one of the sweetest courses out there. How's it going, dude? Are you with the family today? Do you have any of the kids over?
Well, yesterday I saw the family, and I just split them with the ex. But we had a really great thing. I mean, on Sunday we went to my daughter Lucy's the company that she danced with since she was 2 years old, and with the family and the kids, and it was really great to see that. And what happened was the dance director stopped the whole show and announced that one of their students who danced for 14 years there and then went to SAB afterwards was accepted to the New York City Ballet. So it was pretty great. And then we went to dinner afterwards with the founders of the company. So I got the family together. Lucy got some accolades with her old company, the standing ovation from the crowd when they announced it. But yeah, so starting February, she's an official member of the New York City Ballet. So
I know. Congratulations. I know you're super proud. That's amazing. All right. So I got a Frisbee story, but I want you to tell the more detailed story. So I'm going to I'm going to give you the crumbs that I'm aware of, and then you can tell the full story. So I had heard from, it says Charles Richard on the screen. Your name's Chuck. You're always going to be Chuck to me. So Chuck had told me that he ran with the Bulls in Pamplona. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool, but a lot of people have run with the Bulls. But then Chuck told me that his goal when running with the Bulls was he wanted to stick a Frisbee on the horn of one of the Bulls. And he said he took a Frisbee, he put 2 slices in it so it would go through. So I asked Chuck when I heard this story, I said, well, how are you going to get close enough to the bull to put the Frisbee on the horns? And he said, well, as soon as I saw the bull, I'm going to slow down and let the bull catch up to me so I could stick the Frisbee on the horns. Now, as soon as I heard that story, I basically called BS, because I don't care what your plans are. The minute you see the bull, you can't make yourself slow down. So I always thought this story was just an exaggeration. And then this year I was in Chuck's office, and on the wall was just like a shadow box. And there were 5 newspapers with Chuck on the cover of the newspaper, 5 European newspapers with headlines that read, "Crazy American tries to stick Frisbee on a bull." And there's 5 pictures of Chuck trying to stick a Frisbee on the horn of the bull on the cover of the newspaper. And I looked at you and I said, wait, you really did this? And then you lifted your shirt and said, yeah, these are my 13 stitches.
Yeah, it's a true story. My dad was a big, my dad was chairman of the history department in Connecticut growing up. So I spent a lot of time in the university, and he was a big Hemingway fan, of course. And I remember when I was a kid, I mean, he used to read "The Sun Also Rises" by Hemingway. It talks about his exploits in Paris, and then about him going to run with the Bulls. And I'm like, okay, Dad, someday I'm going to make it, and I'm going to do a first-class trip, and you and I are going to go to Pamplona and run with the Bulls. And it was in 97 is when I won Whiff Diff with Tommy and Dave. And so in 98, I didn't have anything else to do. I mean, if you're on the top, all you could do is go down from there. And so I said, shit, so I'll do this now. I'll bring my dad. So he and I went to Pamplona, went to Spain, we went to Pamplona, sat in the courtyards, and figured out what route we're going to take so that we don't get killed, because they run it like 10 days in a row. So on the 3rd day, he and I ran together. My dad was like my age at the time, and I was like 35 or something like that. And we actually did it. We ran with the Bulls, and I actually have a photo. Can you see it?
Jesus.
There's me almost jamming a Frisbee on the bull that knocked down those people that are on the ground. I've got my hand ready. I've got my disc ready. And that guy fell in front of me just as I was about ready to jam the disc on the bull's horn. And I fell on my face and got stomped, and I got 16 stitches. And then I took that disc that I had and threw it out of the park. So, I mean, and what they do is they have cameras along the way, and they took the pictures and they snapped this one. And it was this close to me having that disc punched on that bull's horn. This is a night flyer, what I actually started playing disc with, because my PDJ numbers like lower than yours. And I did have a hole in it so that I could get it on there. But it was I fell on my face, and the bull right behind me stomped on me, and they dragged me into the bull ring. So I ended up running in with bulls in front, bulls beside, and bulls behind me. And that was good enough to make the papers. The only guy who got today was the guy who got gored the 2 days later. But it was a lifetime experience. I have my copy of The Sun Also Rises. My dad and I wrote notes in it. It was like one of those lifetime experiences,
the craziest thing about that story was that, like, like I might do this in 2025 because I can get Instagram likes off it, right? Because I'll have social media. You did this not even knowing that anybody would get a picture of it, huh?
Yeah, that picture was taken
but
by
you literally did this just for your own amusement.
Yeah, the funny, the denouement on that was the next day when the cab was up from the hotel. the driver recognized me. He goes, "Oh my God, you're the American who actually ran with the Bulls." Because most people go in, they jump out, the Bulls run by them, they don't make it into the stadium. But I made it in right there, Bulls in front, Bulls beside, Bulls behind. So it was one of those great sort of lifetime events. That's I should do an Instagram reel on that one at some point. But I mean, I didn't know what to follow up winning whiff diff. The only other thing better is I won the Masters overall in 2012, so that was good. And I finally redeemed myself too from losing head to head to you in Colorado at whiff diff in accuracy, which was actually funny. It was one of my best events. I had like 30 tournament wins, but I made it to the finals once. Before that, me and you throwing head to head, and you crushed me. So I ended up finishing second, but then I redeemed myself back in 2014 to win that one. So
I'm happy to hear that. All right, I want to get one more story from you. So
yeah,
you threw some Frisbees in Egypt recently.
I did.
And they're on your Instagram reel, some of them. So where were you throwing discs in Egypt, Chuck?
I'll tell you, I had this idea. Look, when I went to, I have clients in the Middle East, and I went with one of my guys on a trip to visit a couple of my clients in Dubai and so forth. And I have this client that's from Egypt, and he's in Cairo. And I've been literally everywhere. I have pictures of me throwing discs like one more World Heritage site, and I'm just gonna have to kill myself or something. But I'd never been to Egypt, so I brought one disc with me, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to Giza, and I'm gonna throw a disc over the pyramid, and I'm gonna over the Sphinx. And I'm making a video of it. But it turns out that we went to tour all these sites, including going to Luxor, and I had this disc, and I was able to throw it literally everywhere because there was no rules against, like, everywhere you go, you see a sign that says no Frisbee playing. But here's the thing: in Cairo and Luxor, there are no signs that say no Frisbee playing, because I guess in a land without dogs, there's no signs that say no dogs allowed. And so it turns out they were letting me throw anywhere I wanted. I didn't care. So I made up a fantasy 18-hole course in Egypt, from King Tut's tomb to the Turk pyramid of Luxor to the Step Pyramid. And I got this one great shot in the afternoon, myself throwing about a 400-foot shot right to the Sphinx. And it turned out to be great, right at the Sphinx head, and it landed right in front of the pyramid, in front of a fence. I didn't want to throw it over the fence because it was the only disc that I had brought. And I'm still yet to post the like all 18 holes from my fantasy course, including the Nile River, King Tut's tomb, the Tournament of Luxor, Pyramid of Luxor, the Pyramid of Hatshepsut. And it's really awesome to have these shots. There's so much space, you can't really hit anybody.
Well, no,
but it was really fun. But this is what, like 30,000 views on Instagram,
But the throw at the Sphinx. So I've seen the video. I've seen all the videos of all these shots of yours. And the thing about the one at the Sphinx was that you didn't know that was allowed. So you threw it and then ran.
Yeah, we threw it. I cut it. You probably saw the long version. And it turns out there's a guy with a machine gun who helped me, who helped me actually go collect the disc. And he asked me to throw it again. But so it was, they didn't know they didn't see disc golf. I had people say, "Is there really a course there?" I'm like, "No, I just made up these fake shots at all these famous places." I think the only thing better than the shot from the pyramids, I recently this summer I went to Machu Picchu, and I threw a disc at 10,000 feet from the top of Machu Picchu all the way down to the ruins, and that one was pretty cool. That I had I had a guide and permission to actually do it. You're not supposed to throw any Frisbees there. And so that worked out. That was a really cool video. The over the Chicago River throw, I got a lot of flack from all my local Frisbee friends. Like, dude, why did you just throw that disc? Not like, hey, I'm 60. something, and I threw a 400-foot shot across the Chicago River. Man, it's really cool. I got all these posts like, why didn't you have a spotter? You're giving us a bad name. So I made sure that when I did the shot down in Machu Picchu, that I had a spotter and I had permission. I threw a koi too, just in case there was nobody there. I mean, it was all set up properly, but that was just to, they had a couple points. I could have probably hit somebody, but Scott, I'm telling you, I didn't think I was going to make it over the river. And I had one disc. I was hanging out with my son, Cash. We were on our segways. I'm like, holy shit, this is this perfect spot. And so I just reached into my bag. I heaved one over the river, and it went over. I couldn't believe it. And I caught a lot of shit for it. Excuse me, a lot of flack for it. You actually said it's a rated PG. I understand it. I caught a lot of flack for it because I didn't have a spotter over there. I didn't hit anybody. I mean, nothing bad happened, but it could have gone badly, but it did not.
Gotcha.
And so I think I've got the first recorded throw over the Chicago River as well.
It could be. Hey, I'm going to kick you off in about 1 minute. Let you get back to Christmas. But any final messages for anybody?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Roger and the Slip Discers, my weekend club, and say hi to my buddies there. Of course, all my family and everybody out there who's been around, and all the people. I want to shout out to you, my friend, for hosting this thing. It's been great, and I still am going to challenge you for another round of the penthouse putting, which, by the way, I made the 3 longest shots, including the tower shot, but I still got smoked on my home turf, and looking forward to.
That's how I roll.
See you at Wilderness maybe, or wherever it's going to be this year.
We'll see you again. All right. Love you, Chuck.
Shout out to Adriana too. Tell her I said hi from behind the scenes.
I will for sure. I'll do that.
I love you.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Awesome. See you.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right. We're down to our final couple guests. We have, hey, what's up, guys?
Guys, Scott, what's up, brother? How are you, bro?
Oh, doing so good. Hey, let me give a really quick introduction. So this is, Stephen Bombarico, 2 of my friends, some of my oldest friends in the sport. These are 2 players who were younger than me when I was a junior player. They were also juniors in Los Angeles at our rival course at Silmar. Yeah. And Bomba was older, so he was the better player. But even when you were like 14 years old, you told everybody, you're like, Stevie's going to be better than me someday.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has been. I'm telling you, I love watching all his career, and I had my time, and then he came up behind and took it even further, which is cool.
Well, I remember you guys went out. You had some big wins. I remember you won some big tournaments. Your guys' year on tour, like '94 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my first win was the Wintertime Open, and my whole time I wanted to beat Jeff Listerman. That was the thing. Just beat Jeff Listerman, and you won the Wintertime Open. I think that's what everybody wanted, and I was able to get him that year. But I grew up watching all of you guys. Scott, I watched you, Randy Amon, Steve Valencia, Jeff Johnny. I think Sam Ferens was there. I mean, I watched all you guys. Ahart was there.
Yeah.
Hard growing up back then, trying to get a win back then.
Back in those days, trying to win in California was tough. I remember that, and I was just watching him come up and try to beat those guys back then. So
yeah, it was too many back then.
And then of course Steve went on to just have you've had a wildly successful career as a player, but probably the biggest thing you guys did is there's not a whole lot of players from the early days that parlayed their success in the sport into transitioning into the business or their careers. And you guys did, because you guys formed Legacy Discs.
Yeah.
What year did Legacy start?
We started in 2011. That was the very first year we came out with our very first disc. It was the Rampage. We felt like we've done everything in the sport between being players and running tournaments. We had a pro shop, and then we were like, hey, let's try to make our own discs. And then
Mhm.
we came up with a mold, and we made a disc, and everybody loved it. And that's kind of just how it's been, man. It's, disc golf's been our life, bro. We're very blessed to have it in our life.
No, for sure. I mean, you guys are I called you the first family of disc golf, first family of Southern California disc golf. When I wrote about you all in the book,
Yeah.
my book. So speaking of that, speaking of family, how's your dad? How's JR?
Oh man, Dad Pops is doing cool. He still plays when he can. He's in the thick of things. We've always had a construction business where we do specialize in concrete construction. My dad loves to be a part of that. My dad's 68 years old, still wants to be in the mud doing concrete with us. My dad is a pastor of a church also, and he just does it all. My dad does it all. So for us to try to tackle some of the things that we do, they'll go to my dad for wisdom on what he can talk about and tell us what to do and what not to do. And I gotta say, we're blessed to have him every minute to still guide us these days.
Did he ever see what I wrote about him in my book? Because I wrote about your dad a little bit, and about how I thought he was such a great father and how I really looked up to him. Was he even aware that I wrote about him?
You know what? No, he wasn't. As a matter of fact, after this podcast, I'm going to show him.
If you don't have the book, I can snap a picture of that page and just shoot it over to you.
Dude, I would love to. That'd be awesome.
Text it to me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. JR is great. Everyone loves him. And then there's a new Rico. I mean, he's not that new, but he's poised to be better than both of you, it seems like.
Yeah, we're working on it right now.
It's a work in progress constantly. Scott, you know how it goes in the sport of disc golf, man. We have our ups and downs, and sometimes we're on it. We're just the best there is, and nothing can stop us, and we're great. And then all of a sudden, where did it go? I feel like I can't even feel the disc in my hand. What am I going to play now? And as being where we've been in the sport, there's so many things that influence our lives and where we're at in the golf game, especially with other players or different tournaments and what we're going to do with the schedule, so he goes through all those ups and downs. And there are some things that no matter what we tell him out of our experience, he's got to take his lumps to experience it for himself to learn.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
The way it goes. So there's a lot of things that we advise him on, but he does his own thing sometimes, and he feels it, and then he comes back, but he keeps getting better. He's 19 years old. He's still growing, and he's still learning. So it's awesome to see.
So what was it like? I mean, his game has passed yours, past Dad, right?
Yeah, it has.
Okay, so was that a moment of pride when he first started passing you, or was there a moment where you were like, this ain't cool, like, slow down, kid?
No, it's a little bit of both, honestly. You know what I mean? I think every father has to give his son a fight to get that just that entry of passage, to what he can do on his own. So he earned it. I mean, the kid practices more than anybody I know, honestly. He plays every single day. He puts every single night. I mean, sometimes at night I'll hear chains, and I'm thinking he's in a backyard, but no, he's watching it on his phone. So he's constantly disc golf, so it's good to see him. I'm glad he's surpassed me. He hasn't surpassed the big guy yet here though. So Steve will still make some work for it.
Yeah, we battle, and but it's just a matter of time, and I want him to get to that point, and he's probably going to be 1,000 rated now on the next update.
For real.
But we grind together, which makes me play a lot more golf than I normally want to. He's always trying to drag me up there. We work together and grind, and he outthrows me by 60, 70 feet, but I can still get him in the woods,
Right.
But just the knowledge that we pass down, like, how it is, man. Like, you're like Bomba was saying, like, everything's going great, and you build all this confidence up, and one bad throw or one bad putt, and it gets in your head sometimes. No matter how good you are, it happens to the best of us. And teach him how to overcome that kind of a thing, like it's just something that just happens to the best of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, look, I want to know what you guys have. I mean, I'm so like, I know this might sound weird because we're close to the same age. I'm not that much older, but I'm so proud of like everything you guys have done. Like, it's really amazing. What's next for Legacy? Do you guys have any big plans for next year? Or just keep moving forward, or anything exciting?
Well, we're going to keep moving forward. We always have new molds that we want to experiment with and coming out with. This year was a very weird year for the industry, honestly. The COVID years, I mean, we just felt like the tidal wave was here. Nothing was ever going to stop. Disc golf made it to a new plateau, and then everything retracted. I mean, in the industry, the tour, even manufacturers, we saw it really go just all scale back again. So this year has been a year of regrouping on what everybody's going to do, including Legacy. I think now we're going to go out there and we're going to tackle a couple of new molds this year, which are really cool, stuff that we haven't done before. And
neat.
Across the board and working with a few people. Plus, we're still running a lot of tournaments so we can introduce stuff in,
Yeah, you guys don't slow down. I mean, I know the concrete's the bread and butter, right? Or to a large extent.
Yeah, concrete's always been the bread and butter. We've had that company now for 24 years. So, I mean, that's really the backbone. I mean, Legacy has, a lot of growth and stuff, but the concrete area just keeps us going. We love it. We've always, we'll never leave concrete because we actually love it. We love being in the mud. We love all the connections that we made. We have a lot of general contractors that call us out just for the concrete construction of it. So, I mean, that is what, honestly, that's what covers and pays all the bills for many, many years now. So we get a chance to experiment and do what we want with Legacy, keep it fun, and running tournaments is still fun for us, but concrete always still pays the bills.
Gotcha. Now, are you guys partners in the concrete business?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we've always been partners in everything that we do in life. I mean, in general, Steve and I have done everything together,
Yeah.
My pops raised us, and my dad still oversees everything. So it's just a big family. It's a family affair, Scott. That's all it is.
Are you the boss because you're older, Bomba?
Well, I'm kind of the boss simply just because I do more of the paperwork side of it, really. But Dad and Steve-O are the ones who still run the show and the first to jump in the mud. Honestly, I handle more of the discussions with homeowners or contractors and do paperwork of it and that kind of stuff. But I always say nobody's better than my brother except my dad.
Bro.
That's fair. Hey, now that you've raised a kid that's a successful disc golfer, we got just a couple minutes for you, Bomba. What is the best advice you have for a parent who has a disc golf kid who's showing talent?
Oh man, honestly, I mean, you want me to speak to other disc golf parents or to?
Disc golf parents who have kids that are like talented that love the game.
Honestly, I mean, it's a weird thing for parents to scale back a little bit, but you got to let these youngsters make their own mistakes. I mean, they're not going to listen to you. I'll tell you to all the dads out there right now, your kid's not going to listen to you. He's not. It's like the baseball. They can tell their kid all they want to, they're blue in their face. Their son's not going to listen to you, but they'll talk to the guy that they barely met on the golf course and come back and say, "Oh, Dad, this guy told me this. I'm going to try this, and it's great." And you're going to go, "Yeah, I've been telling you that for already 3 years." That's just the way it is. So I would say, don't take anything personal. Your kid's going to have to make his own mistakes out there. He's going to be great. You just love your kid, love him through it. Be encouraged, all you can. Take them to wherever places you can within your power, whatever finances allow, get them out there. But ultimately, they still have to make their own mistakes. They still got to learn their own road. But they'll always come back to Dad, and either carry his bag when he makes the finals. That's all I can say.
Sounds good. Hey, I'm going to let you guys get back to the family. Look, I love you guys. You're a part of my life. You always will be. And I can't wait to see you all again. And I'm just so happy for your successes and for Cam, and just keep rocking, you guys. And our paths will cross again soon.
All right, Scott. Love you, brother. Thanks, Scott, for having us, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you bet. Merry Christmas, guys. But make sure you give your dad a hug. Tell him I said hi.
All right, brother. Merry Christmas.
Hey, shoot us
Thanks.
that picture. Text it to me from my dad.
Oh, I'll send it to him for sure.
Okay.
All right. We got one more guest. We're going to go a few minutes late because we have one more guest that was able to join on. And it's going to be, oh my God, is it Disc Golf Pro Tour Director Jeff Spring? And you look cold.
I'm not. I'm staying warm with the holiday cheer, Scott. But
Are you?
yeah, thanks for shifting me to the end of the stream here. But I'm in
No.
Vermont, and we love winter. So this is like the white Christmas that they sing about, right, in the Christmas carols. And
Right.
no, it's great. I figured it'd be good to end with a little bit of snow in your screen.
No, you're probably right. I'm in the Philippines right now, and it's between 78 and 79 degrees every day. So,
Wow, that's fun though. That's nice.
and night, day and night. Cool,
Yeah.
man. Hey, I'm so happy to have you. So, like, I just kind of give you the half introduction. This is Jeff Spring, who's director of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. You have been in charge of things for how long?
Well, since 2019, so going into the, I guess it was kind of a split year at the end of the year when Steve, passed the tour on to Todd and I to kind of rebuild, and so it's been 5 years. This is going to be the sixth full season, I would say, but the 10th full season of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So an exciting year for us at the tour.
It is. Well, and I know this year you took not time off. You don't take time off, but you took
Yeah.
time away from some traveling
That's right.
because that was occupying your time that needed to be spent
Getting
like
married.
doing more boring stuff. Well, getting married, that's not the boring part, but
Yeah.
but aside from that, you were doing a lot of the stuff that's just the work part and not the fun part, right?
Yeah, my roles are CEO and tour director. So, the first 3 years it was in a RV, moving across the country, with the tour stop to stop. And then we brought on Phil Delaunay, who is assistant tour director. We did that together for a little bit, but then, he and Brian Cole, our operations director, oversee ops. And so allowed me to come to about a dozen weeks, 12 to 20, somewhere in there, depending on the year now. But going out to stops, and yeah, it would be not anyone on tour goes to every single event now, which is, I think, appropriate because we have about over 30 some years, but next year between 25 and 30 weekends that we're going to be live. So, but our staff, is over 50. So we got a good team to handle all of it, and yeah, kind of doing some of the maybe boring administration, finance, that kind of stuff. So definitely needs a focus if we're going to help grow the professional side of the sport to the next level, which is looking good. I think we have a lot of fun conversations with partners inside and outside the sport every year, and 2025 looks to be a year where we're going to try to stimulate some new growth and hopefully do a little bit more to break out of disc golf orbit. And that does take, time away from the day in, day out grind on the road for sure.
No. And now, do you enjoy being home more? Or is that, I mean, you're married, right? That obviously you probably want to be home more, or do you miss
No,
being on the road
for
more?
Well, I like both, so it's a good blend. Honestly, I half the time I'm traveling now is not actually to a tour event. So, we're working more with cities like destination marketing organizations, conference and visitors bureaus, to try to get more support from those folks. And basically think about Austin, Texas, and Nashville, Tennessee, and Kissimmee, Florida. Visit Salt Lake. These are all locations that we have great conversations going on. And if they, say, hey, we want to bring a tour event here, they can mobilize a lot of resources from their cities and from their sports commissions to try to get the word out, get more spectators on site, allocate more funds to help grow the purse, connect us in with partners. So it's not as helpful to be there, on the day that the event is going on. But if you have a time to visit and plan and see what they can do for you and make connections, you're there, on a different time of year. So, like for instance,
I got to go spend some time in Austin with the event team there and the meeting with the sports commission after Thanksgiving. And so that was travel, but not during the week of the Austin Open. I'll be back in March in Austin, but that's just an example. So yeah, some of the travel comes off season now, but I do love being able to kind of be at home for stints throughout the year, and then whether it's going to set up and plan or going to help execute and support the team on the ground. It's good to have a blend, because I think Scott, you love travel, you love events, and without anything, yeah, certainly could get maybe a little dry and stodgy and disconnected.
No, I love it. And by the way, I wanted to thank you for coming on the show. I know you don't do a lot of public stuff. I know and just probably more because you're busy than anything else, but it means a lot to me that you jumped on. So outside of US, or should say North America and Europe, is there anywhere else on your radar for potential tour events? Maybe not next year, but is there anywhere in the future you're seeing, like, you got one eye on them?
Yeah, south of the U.S. border, we've heard a lot of growth and chatter, whether it's Mexico or some South American development. We trying to get down to some spots there and check them out. And we've really created an exhibition system that will be able to get us familiar with locations without bringing a full tour event. So for instance, we've not just Q series events, but exhibition, events where, we can do a match play or an all-star event, and it's not the same pressure as setting up a competition course for, a disc golf pro tour event, or a PDGA major. The other area I would say, which is, we're developing connections. I'm trying to get there to visit soon. And that I expect to have, some DGBT affiliation with in the coming years, is New Zealand. So a lot going on in New Zealand, Australia, and of course, we've heard Indonesia, Philippines stuff, in Southeast Asia growing. What's your take on what you're seeing down there? What brings you to the Philippines?
I'm in love with Southeast Asia. It's warm. It's a great place to spend winters. Disc golf is in the early stages. They're more at the grassroots level. There's a future here. I mean, what they're doing in the Philippines is they're doing something really special here, but it's still a ways off. But I'll tell you what, I would love to be your connection out here too. I got my eyes on them, but they got, it's still grassroots out here for sure. I would say like New Zealand for sure is, as far as like pro tour stuff, is obviously like had a little bit of a head start. But I mean, so is Eastern Australia too. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's exciting everywhere. I mean, Medellin, Colombia, I haven't been there, but I heard they're doing big things down there with the great ultimate community. And then Mexico is starting to make moves. So, man, it's everywhere.
We know
right?
that you jumped on and played a lot of European events, and helped promote the sport internationally. And what's your pick for the hot new market, if you from your point of view?
Oh gosh, oh man. So the hot new market. Oh man, that is really difficult. If I had to pick somewhere, I'd go New Zealand.
Yeah.
As far as the next, but it's all scaled. Hot new market, pro tour level market. I'm thinking like New Zealand. But I'll tell you what, here's what I'm doing, Jeff. I am looking back as an older man about how much I enjoyed the sport when it was in its infancy. Just there's something special about those early days of the sport. And now I'm trying to spend a lot of my time in those places where I get to relive that experience.
Sure.
So Southeast Asia, what I'm getting to do is I'm getting to go relive my youth in a way, because the sport is so new and so exciting, and the people are so passionate, but it's so new that it just has this energy that it's just different than when it's established. So I have maybe different motives for wanting
No,
to be out
I
here. But
feel you. I mean, it's yeah, I was talking to, some folks recently and some leaders in the sport about, where we started, and just playing in Vermont, there wasn't actually a lot of PDGA events, and it's 2 rounds a day, and it's this is in the late 2008, 2009 timeframe. So much later than, obviously your roots. But, having, the rounds where everybody's playing at once in a shotgun and you got lunch and then go back out, seemed to be really easy formats to build community. And, after COVID, it seems like a lot of folks are sticking with the, 1 round over 2 days, and I'm not sure what the flow back towards 2 rounds in one day, may be, but I certainly think that it's a better way to welcome folks, into competition, disc golf, and into disc golf community. And I'd certainly miss, those types of events, whether they're C tiers or unsanctioned, or just kind of playing with that community and seeing new faces, and they're all of a sudden they're part of the group, and you're rolling. So I feel you. Like there's definitely something magical about getting folks together and just enjoying the kind of friendly competition that is kind of so well known and loved in disc golf.
yeah, well, I think something about the early days of disc golf, talking like 70s, early 80s, is that nobody understood what we were doing except for us. So there was this bond created by the fact that either people had never heard of disc golf, and if they had heard of it, they're like, why would you do that? But that kind of brings you together because it's like us versus the world. And that's kind of what you get in these countries with these little pockets that are popping up, because nobody understands what they're doing but them. So they got this shared camaraderie that is just born out of the fact that it's in its infancy, that like there's a lot of great community in disc golf, but it's not that it's different. It's different than when it's us against the world. And it's special.
Well, we'll keep knocking our heads together and see how we kind of bring that magic factor, along with us as we grow.
Hey, I'll tell you one nice thing is that something weird about disc golf is that as big as it's gotten, it hasn't lost all of its.
That's right.
Made it special. I get asked all the time on podcasts. I don't know, 50 times. I mean, literally, I've been asked, like when they turn the cameras off, they're like, "Okay, tell us the dirt. What really goes on the pro tour when Jomez isn't there, when Disc Golf Network's not there?" And I tell everyone the same thing. I go, I'll tell you, I'll give you all the dirt on the pro tour. I go, but you're going to be really disappointed when you hear it. And they go, "Oh no, really?" I go, "Yeah." I go, everyone kind of likes each other, and everyone kind of gets along, and everyone's like pretty much nice.
Yeah.
Like there's
That's
it's an amazing thing that our sport at this level, when players are playing for paychecks, they're playing for their rent, they're playing, and they're still all getting along as friends. It's a wild thing, man. I think it's unique to us. I really do. So we didn't lose all that. Oh, I think we just froze up. And if we did freeze up, we'll give it a second to click on. But if we did freeze up, what a perfect time to freeze up, because we are about to call it. So if Jeff's camera doesn't pick up, I'll just say Jeff's, I'll speak for Jeff. Jeff Spring here, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas from the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm sure that's what Jeff would say. And appreciate all the support everybody's given to the tour, all the sponsors, all the spectators, all the media, everybody that supported the tour. I know Jeff and everybody on the tour appreciates. And I'm going to go ahead and say my goodbyes to everybody. So thank you, Jeff, for joining us. It means the world to me. Getting to play on the Pro Tour for a few years as an older player means the world to me. So, all right, it's 4:11 in the morning in the Philippines, and the show went off basically without a hitch. You want what? You want to come say hi?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and say hi. This is the person behind the scenes that was making everything go.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, this her name is, God, I keep forgetting. Adriana. How could I forget? I wrote it on my hand. No, I didn't. Okay,
Disc.
I wrote disc on my hand. I wrote no golf. But hey, look, I love all you guys. This means the world to me. I will keep doing this Christmas show every Christmas because we want everybody to have a great Christmas and no one needs to spend it alone because we're all part of this Frisbee family. If you play our sport, you are part of the family. And everybody just stay safe today. And if it is a hard day, tomorrow will be easier. So you'll make it. Just stick it out. Be strong, and we'll see you. The next thing I'll be doing, by the way, to announce is that on New Year's Eve, I will be doing a sober New Year's Eve party. Right. So anybody that wants to hang out on New Year's Eve and talk about disc golf live on the internet while not being out partying is welcome to join the old tea-toting curmudgeon. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
The old tea-toting curmudgeon who doesn't party anymore. But we're gonna have a sober New Year's Eve party for everybody that wants to join. And if that's a hard time for you to get through because you're trying not to party, then you are welcome to join on New Year's Eve. But I'll be announcing that as upcoming. Other than that, thank you to all the guests. Thank you everybody for joining in. It's now 4:13 in the morning, and it's probably time to go to sleep. I would say thank you, David. And by the way, every single person that commented, that there's 274 it's emojis, whatever it was, however many comments there are, I will go through and read every single comment that everybody posted. So what do you mean better half? I'm pretty good.
I think I'm less than half. You're pretty big.
Yeah, you're the better 35%.
I'll take it.
This is Adriana, my better 35%. Is that fair?
I'll take it.
That's reasonable. All right, but anyways, just look, I love all of you. You're all part of the family, and just have a safe holidays. And again, if the rest of the holidays are tough for you because it's a tough time of year, it'll pass. You'll get through it. You're strong, and we'll see you on the other side. And hope you all enjoyed the show. And thank you for making the machine work. I got to talk about Frisbee with my friends all day, and she made the stuff behind the scenes happen, and all the guests did. So thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas to everyone from the Philippines, and we'll be talking to you all soon. Thanks, guys.